Welcome to the east side. We don't wait for doors of opportunity, we just wait on when we gotta kick them in. Decatur, Georgia, or a den of thieves. Hidden leaves just to feed the village. Hidden leaves make them feel like ninjas. Niggas always keep the metal tucked till you run up, get your face cut. Got your brukins on the back end. Know too many niggas trapped. They be stuck in genjutsu. They see the world from a different view. Shadow clones cause they silhouettes. Hard to point out when they robbing you. You never know what be inside of you. You never know who you be talking to. Till it's 2 a.m. on the east side. Blacker shadows in the nighttime. They don't wait on nothing but the right time. He ain't come around the corner. Shots fired, that's a nigga down. Sad, but this is normal around this town. I've been crying for my niggas found. I've been praying for my niggas down. Always looking for some progress. Try a nigga, he gon' regress. Locked and loaded that nigga ready. Turn your brains into red spaghetti. I be looking for God here. Hopefully see that I'm trying here. Save my niggas cause they really lost. Tell that my niggas before you write them off.
They say, Vic, don't you move on that side, boy. Both the crime rate and junkies stay high, boy. Scary niggas, they ain't see my vision, now they see it, they want in the convoy. Stop by the corner store, know that it's kissing. Then let them watch windows, pump gas for a bag of chip shot with the water. But no, they got Zaza, I don't need no patchouli. I just want water. Start bitch with my brothers like Pops and Earl. We gon' turn Keller Road right into a Melrose. I might turn Wesley Chop to a motherfucking church. And they got them my people and teach them their worth. I don't need no appraiser, I'm knowing the worth of my property. They just don't stop the cap, always a lot in the world. And I'm winning it all that construction on this side. I'm taking my time, now it's 2 a.m. on the east side. Up as fuck, no, I'm writing rhymes. Late night, now the early morning, like an alchemist, I'm turning into something. Shots fired, that's your nigga down. Sad, but it's normal around this town. Cause I'm calling, say you beat the charge. He can't wait to come back around. Other cousin calling, y'all must out. Say he heard prices went back up. I confirm they gassed up. Told him chill, though, cause we next up. People be looking for God here. My job is to teach them looking themselves. Say my niggas cause they really lost. Spitting for the ones they breaking off.
Who did you expect?
Biggest the what? Biggest the what? Biggest the what? Biggest the Super Bowl. Niggas so thirsty, don't put me in beef. Dissecting my words and start looking too deep. I look at the tweets and start sucking my teeth. I'm letting it rock cause I love the mystique. I still wanna give me a song where I be. Can't trust everything that you saw on IG. Just know if I diss you, I make sure you know that I hit you like I'm on your caller ID. I'm naming the album to fall off. It's pretty ironic cause it ain't no fall off for me. Still in this bitch getting bigger. They waiting on the kid to come drop like a father to be. Love when they argue the hardest MC. Is it K Dot, is it Aubrey or me? We the big three like we started the league. But right now I feel like Muhammad Ali. Yeah, Muhammad Ali, the one that they call when they shit ain't connected no more. Feel like I got a job in IT. Rhyming with me is the biggest mistake. The Spider-Man meme is me looking at Drake. It's like we recruited your homies to be demon deacons. We got them attending your wake. Hey, how the gang got away from the bars, man, this shit like a prison escape. Everybody stepping, we're fucking, and everybody breakfast, and I'm about to clear up my plate. When I show up, it's motion picture, blockbuster. The goat with the golden pen, the top toucher, the spot rusher. Spray this whole shit up, the crop duster. Not Russia, but apply pressure to your cranium. Codes automatic when aiming them. With the boy in the status of stadium. Big as the Super Bowl, but the difference is it's just two guys playing shit that they did in the studio. Niggas usually send their verses back to me and they be terrible just like a 2-year-old. I love a dinner with some fine women when they start debating about who the GOAT. I'm like, go ahead, say it then. Who the GOAT? Who the GOAT? Who the GOAT? Who the GOAT? Who you bitches really rooting for? Like a kid that had been from January to November, nigga, it's just you and Cole. Big as the what? Big as the what? Big as the what? Big as the Super Bowl.
Welcome, welcome back to the Aaron O Show, where every show must start with water. I don't know what to tell you. I've been warning y'all for a couple years now. Get your daily intake of H2O. It could change your life. I might need to write a commercial for that. What's going on, gang? What up? yes. So got a new intro rocking out. Kind of like that beat. Yep. It's kind of sticking in my head right now. Shout out to Cheeky Banner for the production on that one. I appreciate you, bro. It's about that time. How's everybody today? Has it been a inviting weekend to you guys, or has it been chaos in these YouTube streets? I don't know what to tell y'all. The last few days streaming for me has gone by pretty well. We had This Might Be Risky. We had my show. We had Fight Club. All of those streams went by pretty well for me. So I can't complain much. It's going by pretty well so far. So everything is good. Now I'm working on putting this stream together. But first, of course, as always, we must acknowledge the people that continue to support the channel. And of course, none other than the sponsor of the last show was none other than B Rose. Shout out to Miss B Rose for sponsoring the last show. One of these days, I'm going to get her back on the show so that she is able to show you her panel skills, because I'm sure she's dying to get on this panel. You never know what may happen. You never know what's going on. What's going on, Miss Linda? Atticus, what up? Oh, Jessica. Good morning, Jessica. We're going to get Jessica on the show too, because Jessica, she is pretty locked into almost every stream, and she is extremely expressive, and I'm not going to say concise, but she definitely leaves her thoughts and comments for each show. Hey, Adrian Nicole, how are you? So we're going to work on that too. Jessica was on the Monday show. So, I mean, she ain't afraid to have the conversations, but it is what it is. Hi, welcome. What are we discussing today? I'm going to tie you guys in, right? I want to discuss two things in particular. One of them is the power in unity. Power in coming together and what impacts it actually has. And I'm going to highlight those things. And then I want to discuss a much more, I want to say, less explored topic about mama's boys and daddy's girls. I don't think we discuss it enough. Not in enough detail. Tia Marie, what's going on? I don't think we discuss it in enough detail. So I am going to try to tap into that today. That is the goal. Now, Saturdays are typically my favorite shows. They're the ones where the chaos tends to slow down, and I can be locked in a lot more for these shows. Now, I will say that I am not in the YouTube algorithm because I definitely have not been streaming as much as I used to. I used to be streaming like what? Monday, Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, then do Fight Club. And I used to be extremely consistent. Boom. And then, as I always tell you guys, if I ain't talking about nothing that I want to talk about, I'm going to be quiet. So I'm consistent and I'm true to that. but I think that this stream should be a lot of fun. First things first. Have you guys been noticing that there's a lot of arguments on streams? Sometimes beef, real beef, fake beef, acting, WWE, whatever you want to call it. Have you guys been noticing that? I've been noticing that. Robert says, why don't you cut clips for your channel? I just haven't got into it yet, but that's on top of mine. It's on top of mine. And we'll figure it out. Now, this is what I want to ask you guys. Favorite song. Everybody, I want to know what currently is your favorite song. I have a favorite song, and I want to know what your favorite song is. So just drop it in the chat. I want to know what you guys' favorite song is right now. That's what I want to know. I'm going to tell you guys what my favorite song is right now. I'm going to tell you what my favorite song is right now. Let me see here. Let me see what we got. Okay, Simone says, paint for town red right now. Doja Cat? I've not heard any of Doja Cat's music in my life. I just know that she has a high and a low. People be saying she be doing good and then she be going crazy. So I wouldn't even recognize her if I saw her. It's kind of sad, isn't it? No, D, not favorite song of all time. Just your current favorite song right now. To be honest with you, D, to do a favorite song all time is difficult for most people. I'm going to just tell you that now. It's very, very difficult. Linda says, MJ, Man in the Mirror. You know, Linda, it's interesting you say that. Most people, most difficult battle is the person in the mirror. You know, a lot of people are ashamed to look at themselves in the mirror because they don't like what they see. And I don't just mean physically, I mean mentally. It's the biggest battle you face. Can you look into that mirror, smile, be happy with who you are, and go on about your day? That is the biggest daily battle that most people face. When you look into the mirror, are you hoping to be somebody else? Are you humble, grateful for your life? That battle of the mirror is as real as it gets. Go Beats from the DMV. Okay, that must be like a local artist or something. I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is. Right now, my favorite song right now, Rod Wave, Great Gatsby. Rod Wave, the Great Gatsby. It is a very short song, but I don't know. I just really like that song. It's like less than 3 minutes and just, I really, really like that song. Yeah, y'all going real back. Hummingbird by James Blake from the Across the Spider-Verse soundtrack. I have not watched any Spider-Man movies in a very long time. Not in a very long time. Now, this is what I want to say. Let me key these things up here because this stuff is hilarious. Now, before we get into the show, I want to say sometimes when I'm scrolling through IG, TikTok, wherever the case is, things just come across me. I'm like, wow, that is hilarious, right? And because of all the YouTube beef that be going on and all the WWE stuff, I'm like, man, this stuff is just phony. But some of it might be real. I don't know. But I saw this thing and I was rolling. Let me show you guys what it is. This is what I think about when I see a lot of these content creators back and forth beefing on the panels and arguing. This is what it sounds like in my head most of the time. You guys tell me what you think about it. This is literally what it sounds like in my head most of the time. You tell me what you think about it.
You're not even a street nigga. You want to be a street nigga. Got all the guns, but you ain't gonna shoot nothing. All the guns, but you ain't gonna shoot nothing. I'll slap you, ain't gonna do nothing. Because you weak. You don't fight. You think you hard. You're not hard. You're not that guy, buddy. You're not that guy. Try all the guns, but you ain't gonna shoot nothing.
Why would you think that? What makes you think I'm not gonna shoot
You a sweet nigga. You a sweet nigga.
Who touched you, your mama?
You a ladies' man.
What? Man, I'm a real P around here, bro. Ain't nothing sweet.
These girls play you, boy. They playing you like a video. You're not even a street nigga. You want to be a street nigga.
Listen, I know which person y'all think that is. Y'all can put the name in the chat, right? When you hear that, you be like, that sound like such and such. All I'm gonna say is that is hilarious to me. Hilarious. That is what I be thinking about when I have these battles and this YouTube stuff be going on. I just be rolling. I'm gonna play it one more time for the people that's just tuning
all
in.
The guns, but you ain't gonna shoot nothing. All the guns, but you ain't gonna shoot nothing. I'll slap you, ain't gonna do nothing. Because you weak. You don't fight. You think you hard. You're not hard. You're not that guy, buddy. You're not that guy. Try all the guns, but you ain't gonna shoot nothing.
Why would you think that? What makes you think I'm not gonna shoot
You a sweet nigga. You a sweet nigga.
Who touched you, your mama?
You a ladies' man.
What? Man, I'm a real P around here, bro. Ain't nothing sweet.
These girls play you, boy.
Oh, you a ladies' man. You a ladies' man. These girls play you, boy. That, I'm telling you, is hilarious to me. Oh, but that's what it sounds like when a lot of these people be going on these panels going at it. I don't know if that's what y'all hear, but that is 100% of what I hear. That stuff be having me rolling. This is why you can't take a lot of this stuff serious. A lot of these people are hilarious. Partly, I'm not going to say clowns, but it's a high level of entertainment for you guys. I'm just be honest with you. It's a very high level of entertainment. If we just going to be honest with each other, it's a very high level of entertainment, all right? If we going to be honest with each other, that's all it is. But remember, you a ladies' man. I don't know how that came across my feed, but that just had me rolling, y'all. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize. Now, this here is what I must discuss with you. Hey, Cree, this is what I want to discuss. The power in unity. The power in unity. Granville, you're not funny. I might have to boot you from the back for all that trolling. I don't like trolls. I don't like trolls, Granville. Why you coming up here trolling? It's the beginning of the show. Why? No, I don't like the trolling right now. We're gonna ignore Granville. He on timeout for 5 minutes. Nope. I'm not doing this trolling with you. You gotta wait 5 minutes. You're not gonna troll the show early. I want to talk about because he want to laugh about the kid in the car. That's funny. That's what he wants to do. I want to talk about power and unity. That's what I want to talk about. Oh, let me see here. Fine. I'm gonna let you do it, troll. Go ahead and get your trolling out early.
Yo, did that kid sound like me?
No, he did not sound like you.
All right, good. I'm good. Okay, I'm good.
Nah, that wasn't you. It's somebody else though, but it's hilarious.
Nah, I'm here to have a conversation. I actually like this topic, so I'm going to try to go a whole stream without cursing today, starting right now.
Yeah, I bet. So The power and unity is where we're going to discuss and want to lead into mama's boys and daddy's girls, because I think it's an important thing we need to actually dial in and break down. Now, power and unity. You know, I've had many discussions about rich people, billionaires, pay gap, gender equality, and all those things. And I've been slightly adjusting my views on billionaires for many reasons. But I get a lot of conversations about pay equity and compensation issues. And we also have these conversations around men, for example. Men don't support other men, right? And there's this false belief that women support other women. But I don't know if that's true. I don't know if women are supporting other women. And I'm going to say this too. I don't know if women want pay equality. I don't know if women are willing to do what it takes to get pay equality. What do you think? You think women are willing to do what it takes to get pay equality, especially here in the US?
No. They're not willing. I don't think they're willing to put in. I don't think they're willing to put in the sacrifice. That's the only part, I don't think. And maybe if we talk about physical jobs, not physically, physical jobs, probably there also at a mass rate, but I don't think they're willing to put in with the sacrifice. Because when you have to work, when you work and grind and you putting in them 70 hours a week, because I'm gonna just go to 70 because that's what I normally work a week. Sometimes my 14-hour clock, sometimes I burn out my whole 14-hour clock. So sometimes I put in 6 weeks, 6 days a week, 14 hours. I don't think they're willing to sacrifice with the time, the constant just the constant grind, getting up, doing the same thing over and over, even 7 days a week. Like if you take me for instance, technically I'm a truck driver. I only work 6 days. I do my resets on Sunday, but if you really look at it, I'm at work 24/7. You see what I'm saying?
Good point.
Do a lot of people really want to put that work in like that, and especially women? I don't know, not in mass.
Not in mass. Well, I can agree that they probably don't want to put the work in, but I think when we talk about the value, the contribution to society, it's not often really broken down. So, for example, right, there's been a strong movement that has happened, right, and it's in another country, but it's a level of uniformity where you cannot deny it, right? So I'm going to play the video into where you can get a connection to, right? Let me pull it up for you here. Listen to this video right here.
Women's contribution to society. It was dubbed Women's Day Off, or Kvinnafri. Men scrambled on that day to take care of. On October 24th, 1975, over 90% of Icelandic women left work to show the importance of women's contribution to society. It was dubbed Women's Day Off, or Kvinnafri. Men scrambled on that day to take care of their children while their partners rallied in solidarity. Over the years, there have been multiple protests where women have walked out of work due to income inequality. As of 2022, women in Iceland are making an average of 21% less than men. While Iceland has come a long way, income equality has yet to be achieved. To learn more, check out kvinnafri.is.
Now, this was a good amount of time ago when women decided to walk out of work. A large amount of them. I'm not working today because I think this is wrong. I think it's wrong. And they walked out of work. And men, they say, were scrambling to take care of the children, right? Fair enough. I would be scrambling too if I had to work and then you had to protest and then the kids, yeah, and all the women, for the most part, decided we're going to protest. I could see how that can cause some issues in society, wouldn't you say?
Yes, I can see that for that one day. Because okay, so women put in work, like especially like women in nursing. I can say nursing. Nursing, they put a lot of work in. Long hours, But to the okay, so you took the day off. From this video, they say they took the day off. They've been fighting for equality in the workspace and everything, but there's still a 21% gap in income. I think that just comes down to the job positions being held. Some things are weighted more than others by pay scale. And depending on if women would transfer into those jobs more, that pay more, maybe that gap would leave, maybe. But I doubt it. I doubt that gap would leave. Because if you flood that market, eventually you're gonna run out of jobs in that market. And those other jobs do have to be covered. When men start working those lower paying jobs in those fields, I don't know. I don't know how you balance that out, Aaron.
Well, let's discuss it a little bit more in depth, right? Now, that was probably like 20, 30 years ago, right? When that happened. However, that hasn't stopped them from, I would say, protesting again.
That's definitely not going to stop them.
Nope. But check this out. They protested again. More recently, actually. And this is what transpired during that time. Let me highlight the importance of that, because a lot of people can't actually see, right, what it says. But what it says right there is 100,000 women. This is 100,000 women went on strike. They have a population of 370,000, effectively. Not exactly half, but a very large part of the impact that women have. We talking medical facilities during their shutdown, because literally almost all of the women there said, I'm not working. Almost all of them said it. So we're talking a major impact. So let me see. Let me just pull up a couple of the other videos that kind of highlight some of this impact, right? Let me pull them up so you can get a real take for it. Right? It's about 1/3 of the population. Crazy how many people that actually is, right? It's an insane amount of people, right? Now, that's actually not covered that much, right? They didn't actually cover it a whole lot, right? But effectively, this is some of the impact. Listen to this.
Only one who thinks that the women of Iceland pulled an I can't be the only one who thinks that the women of Iceland pulled an absolutely iconic move today. For the first time in over 48 years, thousands of women across Iceland went on strike to spotlight pay inequality and gender-based violence. The Prime Minister even joined in and rescheduled a cabinet meeting to join the cause. It's the 7th time in history that women in Iceland have gone on strike in the name of gender equality. Iceland does top the list of global gender equality, but women still earn 21% less than men in some jobs. Anyways, only one bank branch on the entire island opened today, and medical clinics in the capital area were only taking emergency patients. What an impact. Name me another country where the women have come together in such an iconic and massive way.
Can't name one. Can't name another country in which women have come together in such a massive, iconic way. So I want to ask you, do you think that if women in the United States said we're not going to work unless you pay us exactly what we're owed, right? The uniformity that they're requesting, Do you think that would change something, or would you find out that women don't support each other as much as they claim that they should or do?
So basically, a mass walkout in the Americas of women on their jobs across the board. The acute problem will probably be some things coming to a stall, maybe even shutting down until they got their pay. But I doubt it'll go that quick. But you're asking women that have to take care of their children, their households and stuff, because a lot of women do in this country, to just give it all up for the greater cause of each other. I necessarily Two women can't even get along under the same roof. You're asking them basically what you're asking is will women sacrifice with their personal life for the greater good of the entire gender? I don't think they would do that. I don't think they would do that. You're asking them to sacrifice everything for the greater cause. I don't think so. I don't think so. No, they
Hmm.
won't.
So when women say men should get together, they should protest to change the family court laws, right? Since we want them changed so bad, it doesn't make sense that women should get together, protest, not work in order to change the things in which they want to change.
No, because I'm gonna tell you like this, Aaron. Would you ever see me protesting the family court laws? Probably not. I probably never do it. It really doesn't bother to me. It really doesn't bother me the way it is. It doesn't affect my personal life, and I'm gonna just be truthful. So, do I expect somebody like, let's say, a woman in a position making a decent income that's keeping up with society standards, actually walking off her job to worry about a woman that may be making $30,000 less in a different field than her to actually risk her job? No, I don't think they would do that, and I don't think they should. People, people, people negotiate the prices they're going to work for. It's either you're going to go to that job, work for that price. If that job doesn't move at that price, then you have to go somewhere else that may give you more money, or you may have to get that job and another job. You pick fields. Fields have caps. Jobs have caps. They have caps. Income doesn't really go up for the interment of your entire career at that job. I think they have caps, and especially in mine, there's a cap. As a company driver, there's a cap. There will be a point in time where I will not make no more money than what I'm making now. At that time, I should say. So I don't think women are gonna get up in mass, just like men are not gonna get up in mass to fight back paternity court or child court or whatever that is. They always bring up. Neither will.
Hmm. But there's proof that you actually can do it. When you look at a third of a population literally quit work, it's proof that it can be done, and it's proof that there are people willing to do it. How come the women here, the more powerful women, the more financially empowered women, won't do it?
Mm, I guess they got a lot of red tape to go through. They got a lot of red tape. They got a lot of sacrifices. Like she said, isn't Iceland where they were doing the process? Isn't that the most women favorite country in the world right now? She brought up the little poll, but I was looking at right
Yeah, you're
on
kind of speaking
equality.
to egalitarian, but yes, they are probably rated one, if not the highest, right? Yeah.
So maybe they got a little pull. They have an edge to actually do a little pull. Maybe are women really to go? Are they willing to go through? Okay, so like the gimmick with the union and stuff with the automakers. Are they willing to actually walk off on mass and start those things in mass all around the country? Get together in order and actually listen to someone and follow through and don't give up? I don't think so. I don't
So
think so.
the point of it is when women say things like men don't care about other men. Well, some men do and some don't. Why? Because the men that are winning are like, I mean, look, y'all know the game. It is what it is. Figure it out. We did. And the women who are winning are telling the other women the same thing. Ladies, we supposed to stick together, but I make $300,000 a year. I make what I make. I ain't leaving out on my job. That's on you. So
That's a fact.
just as much as they tell the men that y'all don't support each other, it's literal proof that they don't support each other either. So the point of telling men to protest and get together to change the laws when they're not even willing to do the same thing because they're handcuffed to the same position that men are.
Yeah. I don't think men or women are willing to actually stand in unison and get what they want done, to actually sacrifice. I don't think. Well, I know they realize that if they were really to start this in America and start it in mass, a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. Sacrifice. A lot of people will be sacrificed to get to the point where y'all want to be. A lot. And I don't think people are willing to sacrifice the life that they have right now for a greater good that they can't see. They don't have a guarantee that it's going to happen. And a lot of people work off guarantees in life, and guarantees initially don't exist. I've never seen a guarantee in my life. Besides my mom and daddy taking care of me, that's probably the only guarantee I had from the ages of newborn to 18. I think that's the only guarantee I ever had in my life. That's the closest thing I ever had.
I wouldn't even say that's a guarantee. If you just pay attention, it's more of just highlighting, okay, women are not together. Women are, if you really look at the contributions in which they actually contribute to society, if they believed that they contribute that much, the impact of them not working for a day would be catastrophic.
That's a fact. Okay, now I would agree with that. Because truck drivers talk about this all the time. Truck drivers talk about this all the time to fix the freight market in trucking, to demand higher pay, get all the truck drivers to stop driving for 7 days. 7 days. But this is like an old folk tale always. You hear drivers talking about it morning, noon, and night in rest areas, truck stops and all that. They always say this, but actually getting us all on one accord and actually stopping owner operators and company drivers to actually stop to fix the pricing in the markets, to get something where it's not dog eat dog out here, I doubt us truck drivers will do that. Because when you stop, when the wheels don't turn, you don't earn. And people got families, people got kids, people got mortgages and stuff. And just the idea of going a day without pay when you know you're supposed to be making some type of money that day, that'll rattle your brain.
What would it take for women to actually do it? Like in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, women are in the workforce. Women are doing a lot of things. They have a lot of gripes. They speak about how important they are in their contribution to society. And I'm not claiming that they're not. I'm just speaking about what is said. What do you think it would take for them to actually do it in order to get the things in which they request?
Coming to the realization that you will lose a lot. A lot of people will be lost. And when I say lost, a lot of people will lose their jobs. They will lose their income. Some people may get blackballed. They may never be able to go back in the field that they're in because of doing this. People will be lost. If you could come to the realization that you will lose for the greater good that you see, maybe. And then it comes to the aspect of actually doing the process, of actually taking that first step.
I thought that was just a really, really dope display of uniformity by a huge amount of the population. When we talk about the Million Man March, right, and 100,000, like that's so minuscule when you look at the overall population of the country, right? But when you look at 100,000 plus women and a population that is probably maybe 300,000 people, we're talking 1/3 of the population roughly, that is insanely enormous.
Yeah, on that scale, yeah. But so So in America, Aaron, we're probably talking about what, 80 million, 90 million women, somewhere in that 80, 90 million walking out and stopping. That can have ramifications to how the country runs, even for a day. Some things can change in a day. If they were all to stop working in one day in unison and don't go, yeah, it can that can change something.
Well, economy is similar to uh economy is similar to the social aspect. So like if you're if you're if the way that money works, right, is in the flow of the economy, right? Movement here, movement there, right? It's no different than if you stop somebody from having the movement of people. So me moving goods, me moving human beings, it ain't just have to look at the monetary impact, even though it is one. Look at how the movement of money is directly correlated to the movement of people. People
Yeah.
standing still directly impacts the flow of money. They are literally one and the same in the large majority of the impact of the economy. So if people stop working from getting from point A to point B, you don't take this bus, you don't take this Uber, you don't take this Lyft, you don't get this pizza, you don't move from here to here, you don't do nothing.
Oh yeah, I never thought about that, Aaron. So if the women were to, let's say if the women were to walk out, stop working, stop doing everything, and just go and protest, you don't have the you don't have the exchange of money at that either. You don't have the commerce at that time. They're not going to the grocery store to buy the groceries that they do. They're not buying the stuff online from the e-commerce businesses. They're not calling to get things shipped. They're not calling to get things built or done or put together. So it hits on both sides. It hits on production and commerce and consumption. So damn, that will fuck some. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll go curse. That will mess some stuff up.
Enormously, actually. But I don't think we'll ever get there. I don't think the people are as they like their life. Like as much as people complain, they like their life. This is why when the people like you guys complaining in a first world country, it's because it's not dissected. People really don't have much problem with their life in America. They actually really like it, especially in comparison to all around the world. They not about to protest nothing at a high enough rate in which it actually is going to put a dent in something to force change. You can have a social media type of, hey, stop this, and you might get a media buzz, but literally actual economic impact to the point of stopping society, which women have a huge play in, they have no interest in that because they're not that upset. They're not that frustrated. They're not that irritated. They don't dislike their life that much in America as much as they willing to admit that they do on social
Yeah,
media.
that's a fact. Another aspect to it, Aaron, people complain about the money that they make, they're not getting paid enough, but people also remember where they grew up at and what it was like when they grew up. They got more now than what they had when they grew up, and that plays a lot of mental. That plays on their mental also because they know how bad it can get. A lot of people know how bad it can get from struggling growing up, maybe, and willing to give up this access to income that they have right now, risking it. That goes into, I don't know. That's like blowing up your whole life.
True. So I just wanted to highlight that so women can see that the actual impact you can have if you actually get together and stop your country from literally moving. They can actually do it. They can do it here too. Uh, but when they say disingenuous things about men don't care about other men, they don't get together, they don't this, that, it's just a people thing. It ain't a gender-based thing. That's the fact that most people are enjoying their life, and it's not enough for them to stop their world in order to try to help somebody else's world without, like you said, a guarantee that it'll work. The problem is that doing that is the only guarantee that it can work. So
yeah.
That's something that people really want to look into. Now, I really want to have this conversation about mama's boys and daddy's girls. Now, I don't know how many people in the chat are a mama's boy or a daddy's girl, right? Keisha, don't say men don't care about each other. People don't care about each other. It ain't a man thing. It ain't a woman thing. And effectively, it's kind of proven how we move on day-to-day basis. People care about their tribe, their economic group, their religious groups, things that are specifically tied to them and their impact and what's important to them. That's just typically how it works. So I want to wonder, do you ever really break down the fact, right? We building what up? That this is going to be very crazy. That mama's boys versus daddy girls are extremely dissected, vastly different. They are very, very different. And I think we do mothers a huge disservice in this conversation. I think we do mothers a huge disservice in this conversation. I know you're thinking, what does that actually mean?
Yeah.
So I'm going to break it down to you. But first, I'm going to present a common argument that is presented about the desires of mothers, the desires of fathers. What do you want? Listen to this.
They shame men for wanting women who are better than their mom, but they want men who are better than their dads. A lot of these 5'2" girls, their dad was 5'5". Their dad was broke. Their dad was emotionally unintelligent, but it's okay for her to want a better man. But when a man who comes from a single mother is like, I don't want an aggressive woman. I grew up with one. I want a feminine woman. I grew up with an aggressive one. I want a woman who's, this.
So that's why they go to the other races sometimes?
Unfortunately, I think so.
I don't want you to overly think about that. I want you to pay attention to this dynamic. Women are more than welcome to say they want a man like their father. But men are not more than welcome to say they want a woman like their mother. It's a lot more pushback from the opposite way, right? And they often try to hide behind the thing, I want a man to treat me like my father treated my mother, not treat me like my daddy treated me. That's the argument that's often the case, right? And they think that expression can neutralize your desire for your woman to treat you like your mother does, because they make the distinction that I don't want to be treated like my daddy treat me. I want to be treated like my daddy treated my mother. So they try to make that small distinguished difference, right, in order to shame men for what they want as opposed to what women would desire, right? But I've paid attention in these conversations over and over again about mama's boys and daddy's girls. And this is going to take a turn in this conversation. Mama's boys and daddy's girls, who do you think are more accepted?
Daddy's girls.
Daddy's girls. Overwhelmingly. This, the crazy part when I really sat back and thought about it, I was like, man, there's really no downside to being a daddy's girl. There's no shame for it. Nobody shames them. No negativity comes from it. I never met a guy that says, oh, I met this girl, she a daddy's girl, and had an issue with it. But the opposite, mama's boys, extremely shamed.
It's almost used as a derogatory term. Huh?
Yes.
It's almost used as I wouldn't say it's on a level of being a derogatory term, but it's close. It's close.
And I can't figure out why. I've been trying to wrap my head around it, right? So I said, let me bring this to the conversation. Why? Why do we do a disservice to mothers, but we give such elation to the fathers? It's a really interesting viewpoint, meaning you should listen to your fathers. Your fathers should vet this. Your fathers this. When it comes to mothers, no. Ain't no role. No, mother, stay out of this. Don't listen to your moms. Negative, negative, negative when it comes to mothers. When it comes to fathers, positive, positive, positive. And I'm not someone just continue just to go along and go, that makes sense. I challenge things. I go, why is that in existence? Why do we do a disservice towards mothers versus fathers?
I guess I'm gonna say this, because if you actually correlate his mother, you'll probably have to put in work. You have to you actually dish something out, I guess. When how can I say this? It's the aspect of what his mother did for him that you're not willing to do. So then you shame him in saying that he's a mama's boy. That's how it normally goes in conversations, especially on YouTube.
Now, Keisha M., who's been running from my panel, she says mama's boys are unattractive. If mama's boys are unattractive, think about how deep this can be. And daddy's girls are desired and attractive. There's an indication that when, just think about it, when fathers are present, they are better parents. They are better for your relationship when you leave the home than the opposite. Think about what's being said here. Oh, yeah, my mom was cool and all, but, I'm mama's boy. So me being a mama's boy is not a positive thing because it's going to have a negative impact on my relationship. So once I leave the home, the impact on my relationship with the next person is negative. However, with the father, when I leave the home, the impact on the relationship is positive. So don't focus on just a direct mother to son and the direct father to daughter relationship. When they leave the home and they go create relationships with other people, they're saying the mother's creation of relationships with the son are bad for other people, but the father's relationship with the daughter is good for other people.
Whoa, hold on. So a relationship with the mother is basically how it's perceived as negative and the father's is positive?
Think about it. No negativity. Find me somebody that you're like, yeah, she's a daddy's girl. And it's a negative connotation. It's a negative experience. It's a non-desired thing as opposed to the opposite.
You're right. And I don't find men or women having a problem with a daddy's girl. I never do.
Haven't heard it.
And I've even seen motherfuckers call, oh my God. I've even saw men call other men mama's boy. Soft tail mama's boy. You weak. That's because you was raised by your mama. And all this stuff. So I never thought about it like that. People look at a relationship with a mother as being negative when it comes to a boy. But when a girl has a relationship with her father, it's a positive. It's celebrated.
Once you leave outside the home, it's the impact of other relationships, not the direct relationship for somebody else. If I get somebody that's a mama's boy, our relationship is going to suffer. If I get somebody that's a daddy's girl, no negative stories about that. No huge breakdowns about that. The gripe that someone said in the chat that she's spoiled, I mean, listen, I hate to tell you, guys could say that she was spoiled by her dad. That's fine, but it's not like the girl that's with her mom don't think that she deserved to be spoiled either. I mean, they don't distinguish much very well. So I get it, but that's not negative enough to where men discuss it in depthly. It's not.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example of this, right? This here is a sports player who is in the arms of his mother after taking a loss on national television. Think about that. Think about that. Think about that. Think about that.
Oh, Aaron, I just noticed something watching this video. You know what's crazy? You know what's crazy? Him doing this right now could even raise question to his leadership, especially in the locker room and on the field, except in the loss. If you're talking about sports, if you're going to keep it inside sports, if you're going to keep it inside sports when it comes to the draft stock, when it comes to draft stocks, how they grade, because all that goes in. How well do you do with losses? Like, how do you hold your head up? How do you move? They look at all that especially when it comes to draft stock, like your place in the draft. That instance right there could be looked at a negative. That's why your mic's not working. Nope. I'm serious. It's not working.
No, we can't hear you, bro. See, this is the complex part about it for me. When I actually think about this, and we really start to break down mama's boys, daddy's girls, right? And we're gonna have to be a little honest. We don't want to be, but we're gonna have to be, right? Let's listen to what some athletes said about the impact.
Test teams are better.
Yeah, that one's good.
Oh damn, E-Man, your mic is actually good today.
I feel like Granville is a little off on this one because we have seen people like LeBron James cry after losing a championship game or even winning a championship game, and we don't question his leadership from a basketball point of view.
Hold on. But you're talking about two different aspects when you come into sports. You're talking about a college player at that instance with that quarterback, and you're talking about LeBron James, who is renowned as a leader in the NBA.
No. Let's not get caught up on the sports aspect. Okay. I only want you to get caught up on the distinguishing on the value of a mama's boy versus the value of a daddy's girl, and how indirectly we discuss how important that parent is to each child.
So the point that I want to come up here and make, I think women really want mama's boys. I know it might sound crazy. I know it might not be good enough for the YouTube talking points, but it was an old saying. It was an old saying in the South. If you want to know how a man treats you, look at his relationship with his mother. See how he treat his actual mother, right? And I think a lot of women, we get on these YouTube spaces and people think that I think mama boys actually in more relationships, especially if a mama boy can detach from his mother. He actually typically do very well with women, understanding women, because he actually, especially if his mother is a decent person. So like this idea that women don't want mama's boys, I think is just a bad argument, is a good talking point, but they actually prefer mama boys than men that do not have relationships with their mother. And if you look at the chat, the women are saying they agree. So Either we can take the women word for it, or we can listen to the men who think they know what they want.
All right, so we already know you said most women don't know what they want, so we're not about to do that.
That's a fact.
So let's try this. Are you saying that someone says you a mama's boy is a positive thing or a negative things in a general sense?
I think it depends on who's saying it. I think if a woman says you're a mama's boy, it can be positive. If a man says you're a mama's boy, he might be trying to be negative.
Okay, so I find that to be inaccurate. I think when women say, oh, he's a mama's boy, it's almost never positive, especially if it's your girl, especially if it's a girl that wants you.
Well, that's the point. I talk to my mama 2 to 3 times a day.
I'm not saying you a mama's boy. I'm not saying you.
No, but I'm okay with if a person asks me, was I a mama's boy? I don't look at it as a negative thing because I built a relationship with my mother.
I don't want your personal response.
I got you. First. Let's move it off me personally.
Yeah, I want you can discuss personally, but I want you to acknowledge the general sense of what a mama's boy is perceived.
I don't think so. I don't think like maybe on the West Coast it might be that way, but in the South, mama's boys are not considered bad things. In my opinion.
Okay, go ahead. That's crazy.
And the point that I'm saying is that I really believe that when a man actually maintain a relationship with their mother and have a successful relationship, a non-toxic relationship with their mother, we label them as a mother's boy because they're healthy. It's actually healthy to maintain a relationship with the woman who raised you.
Listen, that may in fact be true, not necessarily the argument. From my experience and from what I've perceived through life, I don't care if it's a movie, TV shows, women, he's a mama's boy. Oh, mama, how's your man? Oh, he's a mama's boy. It's almost never a positive connotation attached to that. It's almost never that. Now, the opposite, daddy's girl, is not demonized anywhere near close to mama's boy. It ain't even in the same stratosphere. Oh, she's a daddy's girl. They might say she's spoiled, but men they're not outspoken about how negative being a daddy girl is or daddy's girl is in the comparison to the negativity that comes with being branded a mama's boy.
But let's talk about why that is. I'm not disagreeing that that's what it is, but men are actually scrutinized for everything they do, and women are not held accountable for anything that they do. So why would we now, just because we put a label before girl, start scrutinizing women? Like, we do hear that people say, man, you so spoiled, your daddy messed you up. We hear those things, right? But we live in a society where we don't correct women if they do have toxic behaviors. So now that we use these labels, men have always been corrected. Like this whole idea that women and men have been scrutinized at the same level, I think is really bad. Men are scrutinized. You can say he's a boy, take the mama away. Just because he's a male, he's gonna get more heat than if he was a woman. It's just point blank and period.
Okay, so your indication is that the women that say, for example, I'm just using this as an example that's more glaring that we all can identify, that the black women that come on here say, y'all black men always tearing us down. And the inverse, oh, y'all black women always tearing the black men down. Are you saying the men are more scrutinized than the women are scrutinized?
Yeah, I think women have been scrutinized. No, what I'm saying is that men are being held more accountable than women are being held accountable, right? So for example, if I hold you accountable, calling you a mama's boy is one thing, but if I try to hold a woman accountable, it typically is not the same heat. Do you agree with that or you disagree with that? In these spaces.
Repeat that again. I want to make sure I truly understand it.
All right, so a man understands. So if you say mama's boy, right? Mm-hmm. If I want to hold a man accountable, especially in these spaces, it's a lot easier to hold a man accountable than holding a woman accountable. Do you agree with that or you disagree with that?
Yeah, I think men are more receptive to corrective behavior.
All right. So even if a daddy's girl, because we can all agree that it's toxic daddy girls out there, right? Lori Harvey will be considered a daddy girl that we might call toxic, right? But what we have done, just in a sense, what we have done is we said we can't correct the behavior for women, even if it's bad. Now, it is a big difference between being a mommy's boy and a son's husband. Those are two separate things. Now, a son husband has always had a negative connotation, but saying that you actually, a mommy's boy only states that you have built a relationship with your mother. You have a stronger bond with your mother.
Mm-hmm.
And typically, once a person becomes a man, they don't call them a mother's boy anymore. This is something that usually we hear that what I have heard in the past that we call children. Hey, that's a mama's boy. That's what we talk to children. I don't see a whole bunch of people running around calling 30-year-old men mama's boys. I don't see that. Now, if you see that in your life, we talking about a whole different thing.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think they actually attach that more to when you're grown than when you're not. He's one of those. He's like when you start when women are dating men. Oh, he's a mama's boy. That's usually not attributed to somebody that's 14 or 8. They're not usually talking about young boys. They're usually talking about men that they're interested in dating. He's a mama's boy. Or I met this guy. He's a mama's boy. You see what I'm saying? So it is a man of age. He is of age.
So I think that's the difference. I think first of all, I think women and men would not be like a 30-year-old man or woman would not like to be called a boy or girl. Can we agree with that? So I think both of them might take that in a negative context. If you call a woman a girl nowadays and you call a man a boy and they're fully grown, would you think that they would take that the wrong way?
Yeah, I think there would be some level of dislike about it for most people. Yes.
What's good, man?
Yeah, what up, bro?
So the point that I'm saying is that when I was called the mama's boy growing up, but when I became a man, they stopped calling me that. I think usually you kind of grow out of that statement. But if we're talking about you got a 45-year-old man and they still calling him a mama's boy, I think that's a whole different connotation. Maybe
there was something that just doesn't make so even in the South, mama's boy has a negative connotation, right? Because it's when someone's calling somebody a mama's boy, they're saying they're deficient in some level of masculinity. Like that's what the phrasing is for. It's not ever used positively by most people, and if you're using it in a way that is supposed to be positive, you're in the minority. No woman has ever said, "Oh, he a mama's boy," and said that with a smile on their face. They've said it in the sense of he doesn't know how to put his mother in whatever place she feels the mother deserves to be in. The mama's boy is the person who lets the mom sit in the front passenger seat and put his girl in the back. The mama's boy.
That's a son's husband.
So you're saying that's a son's husband, and I'm gonna tell you now, most of the world is going to disagree and say that's a mama's boy. They're interchangeable. So you may want to distinguish it because for whatever personal reason, but they're interchangeable. Son, husband, mama's boy is the same thing. If somebody does something like that, they're going to be called a mama's boy. You may go, no, that's a son's husband. They go tomato, tomato. It's the same exact thing, the same attributes, the same persona, the same, all of those things is distributed by this one particular male archetype who places his mother's opinion in everything above his spouse's or someone else's. That's a mama's boy.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that breakdown.
All right, so okay, let's go from there. So, what do you consider daddy's girl? Do you feel like she has some type of dependency on her father?
Yes, a daddy's girl is somebody who has this high expectation of men. It could be either very unreasonable or very reasonable, depending on her treatment. And she puts every expectation that her dad has on a man and start to realize that it's not, most men won't meet it.
And right? She has a strong connection with her.
Hold on, no, because we can't go strong connection because you said that's not mother's boy, right? So
no, that's wait, hold on. Who said that?
No, so my whole argument was a mother's boy have a strong connection with with
but
his
it's not
mother.
limited. Cheeky listed a bunch of things.
I know, but I want to respond to what he just said. So, do you believe that a daddy girl is considered healthy? We look at that as a good thing.
No, a
All right.
daddy's girl. I don't think
Yeah.
I don't think a mama's boy or a daddy's girl is a healthy thing because it sounds like a level of codependence on either end, which is why you have a lot of issues with people in dating today because they keep putting expectations that only parental figures can fulfill on people who aren't their parents. Neither one of those expectations are good or healthy. What you need to do is just be an adult and say, hey, I have a good relationship with my mother and my father, but I'm not a mama's girl or mama's boy or daddy's girl. I'm just a regular human being.
What I believe is it's a level of people speaking out of them being unhealthy. Like the people that when I was growing up who called me a mother's boy didn't have a relationship with their mother. So they was like, I don't understand how you can call and depend on your mother at 15, 16-year-old. I don't have that. I'm a lock leash. I'm a key lock kid, whatever it's called. So I think latch key kids. So I think when some people almost are jealous of the relationship that people have with their parents, and that's why they actually call them these names.
So the reason why those names were brought up is because after a certain age and after a certain period, it's expected that you show a level of independence from your parents. The expectation is right around puberty. That's when you get the most rebellious, supposedly, the most rebellious childhood or the most rebellious phasing of someone's life is that teenage period, 15, 16, because you're starting to discover things about yourself and you're starting to discover things about how you view the world, how you think at that age. So somebody showing a level of dependency on their mother at 15 or 16 is going to look at you as if you have arrested development because you're not matching your peers' level of independence, at least in their perception. That's why they call you a mama's boy.
Well, I like what you're saying there. So are you saying that women should be independent of their fathers at 15 and 16 years old?
They should show some level of independent thought. There should be a level of independence from every parent to child. You know, the overprotective mothers or fathers, their relationship with their children is not healthy. If you're luring behind your child every step of the way when they're 15 and 16, you're a junior in high school. You're about to graduate and your parents are treating you like a child. You look like a goofy. And that's not healthy because when they grow up and they get older, those be the same people that don't want to talk to their parents.
So I'm not disagreeing with you, Cheeky. I do believe that it's a level of unhealthiness. It's an extreme level of a mother boy and a daddy girl, right? It's an extreme level. I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying is a lot of times that I have heard men and women called this, it was typically by people that did not have healthy relationships with their parents. So that's like, I don't understand why your mother is cooking for the football team. I don't understand why your mother always doing this thing. I don't understand why. Like, it was really one of those things of a jealousy things that they was using this word in. I'm not saying that it's unhealthy because I agree. If you 25 years old and you heavily depend on your mama still to pay your bills, that's a deficiency that you need to deal with. So are you believe that it can be a level of jealousy that people are using these terms out of context?
So I think you may have experienced that term out of context, but in most cases, I don't think people are calling people mother's boy, just for the sake of calling people's mother's boy. Every time I've heard mama's boy, it's always been in a super masculine space where one man is showing that he is deficient in masculinity. That's the only time I really heard it like that. And I've heard it from women, of course, not to me, but about men that show a lack of masculinity to them as well. For example, in the military, I was the dorm chief. There was plenty of times where the sergeant, the drill sergeant would kick in the door, 4 a.m. Get up. And then what y'all think y'all mama here? And y'all a bunch of mamas. The reason why mama's boys was being brought up was again to remind you all, or in that situation, or in football, whenever you got hit, and you were slow to get up, and we thought it was not that big of a hit. Well, you a mama's boy. Get off your mama's titty. That's the first. The reason why those words are those phrases are paired together is typically because they're saying you're showing a lack of masculinity, and it's never been used in a positive light. Now, if you're saying somebody of a younger age used it against you because you think they were jealous of your relationship with the parents, fine. I'll give that to you. That's a anecdotal experience that I can't disprove. But what I can say is, in a very general sense, mama's boy, and even if we look it up in the Urban Dictionary, I'm sure somehow, some way, it'll be a negative connotation to that as well. That there's a lack of masculine presence, and you are behaving as if your mother coddles you. And I, whoever that person is, am in the position to be a masculine figure and to let you know you're lacking. And it's annoying me and everybody around you.
Well, I looked up this in the Oxford Dictionary before I came up because I wanted to understand, right? And what it says a boy or man that's attached to his mother or is exceedingly influenced by his mother, right?
Yep.
So I kind of understand what y'all like. I don't want you guys to think because everybody look at it, I'm just here to disagree. I agree that it's an unhealthy version of this, but I'm also trying to oppose the argument that it is a healthy version of having relationships with it, and this can be used out of context.
That argument is not presented, though. The argument that is presented is that mama's boys are demonized. Daddy's girls, not much scrutiny. Not much scrutiny, not a heavy negative connotation around it, not expressed in depthly a lot at all. Like even amongst men, you don't often hear, yeah, you know, my girl's a daddy's girl. Like they may mention it and talking, but it's never beaten down to the point where, hey, he's a mama's boy, so you know he might got to talk to his mama, get this done, and it's way different. And I'm saying, if you really break down the psychology of it, it's an expression. They're expressing the value of a mother-son relationships in comparison to a daddy-daughter relationship. And once they leave the home or the attachment that is confined to being at home and go be with somebody else, bad mom, good dad. Go to your dad for your influence. Go to your dad for your guidance. Let your dad vet everything. And it seems like mom shouldn't do that. Mom shouldn't have influence. It's really a negative view on mothers more than a negative view on fathers, which I find to be extremely interesting.
Well, I think now we believe that most mothers are unhealthy, just based on the narrative what's actually being said in society. Mothers are unhealthy. Mothers can't give positive advice. Even if your mother sustained the marriage for 20 years, she don't understand the inside of women. Like, I think that, yes, if you have a mother who have a track record of having bad advice versus someone that have a track record of making great decisions, I strongly believe like there's nothing wrong with taking advice or being influenced by your mother. But I still got to go back to Cheeky point because he made a great point. You still have to be able to be independent thinker to be able to think on your own. I'm not going against that because I'm a big, heavy believer of independent thinking. But if you do have a positive mother, why wouldn't you lean on her wisdom?
That and again, that's no one is saying that a healthy, positive relationship with either parent is a bad thing. More so, the connotation behind said phrase, right? If you have a good relationship with your mom and she's not overstepping any boundaries and she seems to respect you and your woman's relationship, and you seem to be able to put her in her place when need be, not as if you're trying to power trip over. Most often than not, you're not going to be called mama's boy. In most cases, you're going to be called a man because you're displaying things that show a level of balance. But when one thing is teetering more than the other, that's when you get called a mama's boy. And the reason why the phrasing exists again is to say, hey, there are things that you're displaying that lets me know this particular mother or matriarchal figure has a lot of sway in what's going on, and she shouldn't at this particular stage.
Well, and I would say that the reason that I understand women is because of the being raised. Like my mother was a a very important part of me understanding women, right? Because my father, he taught me how to understand men, and my mother taught me. So I understand it's a balance. I'm not saying that we should. I think that this most of the time when we look at these things, I think it's healthy to have the relationship with your mother and your father to make you more of a balanced person. Now, I can agree if you don't have one and you only have the mother and you don't have the father, it can make you lean more one way than the other. So I'm not disagreeing with that, but I just don't think there's nothing wrong with being a mama's boy or a daddy's girl. Because even when it comes down to daddy's girl, because I believe my wife was a daddy's girl, right? I just understood that a standard was set. See, sometimes we look at it as like if a father set a standard and now a man have to meet that standard, I don't look at that as a bad thing.
So again, you may not mind the phrasing, but that's because you're redefining what it means in a very general sense. You're applying your own meaning and definition to the word or phrasing mama's boy and daddy's girl that is not generally held or agreed upon in a colloquial sense. So of course you wouldn't mind that. But if you talk to anybody who is outside of yourself, you're a mama's boy, the first thing they may do if they're not your friends is go, what? Like, what are you saying? They may be confused and show some level of aggression because every human being that's the first what? That's the first it's the what with the question mark and the exclamation mark right behind it. And then hopefully after a conversation, it's clarified what you mean so they don't have to beat you up and you don't have to fight them. Right.
Yeah.
So while you may be accepting of the term, you have a totally different definition of the general population, which is fine. I mean, that works for you. So if somebody call you a mom's boy, you're gonna be like, okay, great. But don't call me a mom's boy because that's not true. And that's to me can be viewed as a level of emasculation that I just don't want to happen to me. I'd prefer you not do something like that.
Correct. And I'm just going based off the definition that I read. Like, I'm not saying that, like, we understand that words can have other meanings based on culture. I'm not saying that, but when we look at daddy's girl, it just says a woman that has a particular attachment to their father. And maybe I'm a positive thinker, so I always look at maybe the glass half full than half empty. But I can't understand that. It's what I have learned in this space. It don't matter what you say. If a person's a negative thinker, they actually push everything through a negative lens. And I typically don't do that.
So I don't even think it's negative or positive, though. The thing that Aaron was saying is one is obviously negative on a societal level, and the other one is just a thing that exists. But they both should be neutral. If we're going to make things fair in the year of 2023, where the most gender equality and all these things are supposed to matter, then we need to get rid of all the negative tones associated with men, i.e. mama's boy. Or if we don't get rid of the negative tone associated, we start giving a negative tone to words that are associated with women, i.e. daddy's little girl. When I hear daddy's girl, what I'm going to start doing, if I want to balance this out, because we're looking for balance in 2023, that's why all of these rights and things are coming about. I'm going to start thinking spoiled brat who doesn't know how to say, who doesn't understand how things work, who gets everything catered to her, who doesn't know how to serve because she's so busy being a queen and not a servant. I'm going to think you don't have any understanding of what it means to love anything besides yourself because you have somebody always providing something for you. I'm going to start thinking you don't know what it looks like to actually love anything, but just love the things that you get. And then when we start having that conversation, that's when women will go, well, that's not what a daddy's girl. And then we can make the argument, well, that's not what a daddy's boy. So again, either we're going to be balanced with our approach or we're both just going to have negative approaches, which is why I keep saying, hey, fathers, stop. Look, stay-at-home dads need to be a thing. We need to push that. We need to push with all our heart and mind and soul, stay-at-home fathers, because I can't think of a harder job, right? But then you'll see the pushback. So
yeah, listen. So what I'm saying, I think instead of being biased, we all should be neutral. Like, so I agree with the part that you said neutral. So I believe if we say somebody comes up here and say that they are a daddy's girl, I say, hey, she have an attachment to her father, a neutral stance. Was that a positive attachment or is it a negative attachment? And it's based on that individual, whether that saying is negative or positive. Is that too off to say? Instead of
no, that's a very fair thing to say. That's a very fair thing to say, because what you're doing is you're making an assessment, right, based upon more information. However, when we just talk about it, the optics of it, just the sounding of it, the phrasing of it, without exploring deeper, which most people are surface level, the negative connotation is on a whole nother planet in comparison to the other. And I'm saying if you even go deeper than that, it's an expression of a mother's relation with her child and an expression of a father's relation with their child, and how one is perceived to be supremely better than the opposite. Let me give you the example, right? I think we're doing mothers a disservice by how it's demonized. For example, right? This athlete here, right? Their close relationship with their mother allowed them to save $3.2 million, right?
Idea was to never leave, KC. Let's talk numbers. You feel me? So they talk numbers. The Chiefs weren't budging at all. That's when he was like, we gonna get you traded for what you deserve. I'm like, what do I deserve? He's like, bro, you deserve at least 70 million, bro. So Miami offered like 70 the first day. The Jets offered like 68. So I'm sitting there thinking, you said, just think about it. Then the Jets came back and offered like 76 guaranteed. I'm just randomly speaking. I think it was more guaranteed than what the Dolphins offered. But then, the more I began to talk, my mom was like, hey, you need to think about them state taxes too. That's when my mama began. She became a mom. Then she like, hey, you think about them state taxes too.
I want you, and I know you'll have a great understanding of this. When you hear mom and mama, there's a distinguishing there, right? When the person, that's my mama or that's my mom. People don't understand that subtle phrasing is so powerful because it gives a total insight into relations, how you feel, connect. Like I notice very subtle things like that, right? And what I'm saying,
wait, hold on, Aaron. Perfect example. If you hear a man say, that's my daddy, you're going to be like, what's up with Brody? Well, you don't know why. You have no idea why you're going to think to yourself, that's weird. But no, that's a fact. I just think that was a perfect example.
I get it, but this isn't a good example if we was to call him a mother's boy. That actually was a positive thing in his life. He wasn't considered. His mama gave him a level of wisdom, talking about taxes, talking about these different things. So 100%, I'm all for a guy being a mama's boy if it's a positive outcome. That saved him money. It put him in a better situation. So people was running around calling this man a mama's boy. I'm like, that's a good thing that he got those type of info. It's people that's on their knees praying to have that type of relationship with a positive mother who can be able to influence them in that way. So if that's what we call a mama's boy, I agree with
no. That's what I'm highlighting. If you're paying attention to what I'm describing, how I'm highlighting that we actually demonize the relationship, but through further inspection, it's like a lot of these moms are a lot more insightful than we give them credit for. A lot of these moms' close wisdom and guidance is way more important than we give them credit for. Remember the soccer athlete or the football athlete that put all the assets in his mom's name, and we was like, genius. It's the mothers that tell you, watch this woman here. She's a da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It's supposedly the fathers that tell you to watch this guy. Da-da-da. What I'm saying is, I don't know if we highlight enough of the importance that exists with mothers because it's typically demonized. And I'm saying if I had to make the argument of how often do we hear the stories of a man putting or even a daughter putting their assets into their father's name to hide, I would say it's much rarer than the opposite.
Yeah, and I think because men have more assets than women, so I can agree with that. But so let me. This is someone I hear on the internet that get called a mother's boy all the time. Kevin Durant. Everybody say, "Oh, Kevin Durant, he's a mother's boy." Matter of fact, he made his mama into his agent. His mama is making sure that he's good with taking care of his money. They call him a mama's boy, right? They say he'll never get married. He'll never get married because his mother's so highly involved in his life, right? Just because your mother involved in making sure that you make great decisions, I don't think that that is a bad thing to have. Another good basketball player, JaVale McGee, his mother managed a lot of his funds. His mother, he go to his mom and say, "Hey, mom, I'm thinking about buying this, that, and third." In the grand scheme of things, he can overvote her. He can just take his money, but he put filters in place because he understands who he is. And so some guys need this help from someone other than themselves. And we see when it comes down to people like Steve Harvey, you go out and get that random man who you think is doing the best thing for you, and your family might have the best option for you than some random guy that you think will manage your funds correctly. So I'm okay with like having a relationship with your mother and people saying that mother, especially if that mother is healthy.
I would say
right. I don't know if Aaron is making that. I don't, because it doesn't sound like anybody's disagreeing with you.
Yeah. So I think I get what Aaron is saying. So I understand. I understand that he's saying that society have made these words into a negative connotation, right? When we hear people say "mama's boy," and we see things like this last video, somebody saving them a whole bunch of money or different things like this, we actually need to reevaluate is society wrong when it comes down to talking about these things. I understand that point, and I agree. I'm agreeing that yes, we're using some of these words in the bad context, but everything have a negative connotation to it. Like we can go negative. We can take the word love, and people say we can make that negative, right? So I get that, but I just think that people are already looking through life through a negative lens, so everything that they see is negative, regardless of what the statement is, and that's the point that I was making.
Okay, so you're just saying people just have a glass half empty perspective.
Correct. I think I think people have a like I didn't have conversations about having $1 million, right? And some people look at having $1 million is not really a lot of money. You really ain't wealthy. They just have a negative point of view. But if I have a conversation with somebody like you, you'd be like, yeah, me having $1 million in my bank account, I'm winning at this point in my life. So like it's all I think it really comes down to your perspective. And y'all guys are correct, because I believe that most people look at the world negative than people that actually look at this thing positive. So I'm agreeing that if we go with the majority, yes, most of them will have a negative glass. So yes, they might look at these terms. Me personally, I'm agreeing with Aaron in his last point that this can be a positive thing too.
I looked in the chat and Keisha said he could probably find a woman or somebody else that could better manage his money. See, it's so interesting, right? I don't know why my brain works like this. Why are we taking away things that can make women great? How great being a mother could be. Like, for example, a lot of times women are saying, I don't think I'm being recognized. Aside from just being a mother, there is a way, and I'm not saying right or wrong, I can attach a higher level of greatness to me by doing more. I can be a mother, I can work, I can run business, I can do a lot of things, right? Which would enhance the greatness of women, right? I don't know whether they can do it or not. That's the argument people can make. But when these women are doing certain things, it's like, dang, why would women want to be moms at this point? Where's the win at now? Where's the gain? It used to be a high level of reverence, but if you start to really listen to a lot of these conversations, it's not anymore. It's not anymore. It's shifting towards men just need to be in the house, because when the man is there, get your guys run through things. It's like, were we valuing these mothers at this point? And I think it's getting real muddy there. And it kind of shows, because women are like, mother, that ain't so cool. That ain't so great anymore.
Well, that's great. So you're 100% right, because this is why women don't want to be mothers, because they don't see the value in being a mother anymore, right? If everything that I'm going to do, all the influence that I have is automatically going to have a negative connotation. You ask the question is, you make the statement that it does make sense that women do not want to be mothers anymore if everything they do is going to be villainized. So yes, because right now women get the heat for everything. If you get locked up, it's your mama's fault. If you was raised by your daddy, you wouldn't have been selling them drugs. Like we hear these outrageous statements that your mama is actually responsible for all your bad decisions. I think is completely crazy.
Wait, but fathers are held to that same expectation too. The only difference is viewed, or the child views it differently. Just because the father isn't there doesn't mean that the parent is now no longer obligated to the responsibilities of that child and what that child does. That's how that works.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying, but so usually, I'm talking about the narrative now, right? We're not talking about the narrative 20 years ago. Usually, if somebody get locked up and the father is not there, the first thing is he was raised by a single mother. Let's talk about the influence that the mother had on that child since the father was not present. That is the new arguments that I'm hearing, and it might just be this space.
So but you may be hearing it because it just could be true. The likely chance of it being a single mom or coming from a single parent home is high. Like that's just that. So maybe instead of taking it personally, just look at it objectively. And objectively speaking, the likely chance or the higher probability of it being the criminal being from a single mother home or a single parent home is higher.
But that's the point that I'm saying is that if 80% of them are 80% of black guys are from single mother homes, they gonna have the highest number of people get locked up because it's 80 competing against 20. Are we disagreeing that the numbers are going to be that way?
But you're looking. So again, that may be true, but if they are thinking the way you just said, they're not looking at it from a solution base. They're looking at it from a complaint base. How about this? The solution is make sure you are married, or make sure you have a husband, or make sure you have this thing that makes it more secure. Instead of just having sex and birthing children that you can't control.
I get what you're saying, but it's almost that same argument when you said when people say the women single mamas produce the most felons, it's almost that same argument. They say, well, white people commit the most crime. We don't actually start breaking it down per capita. I think if we broke it down to per capita, the numbers will look totally different.
Okay, so either way it goes, the answer to the solution is, if the answer to the solution is as extreme as no longer having kids, so be it. To me, it don't really matter because me personally, I don't want kids, so that don't really affect me. But if you think that the answer as a whole should be something as extreme as, okay, well, we just won't have kids anymore, or whatever the case may be, just know the implications or the other things that comes with that and how that affects you. And also just know that those things change.
I
the only way to go about it is not to go, oh, all these women get blamed because they kids doing something bad. Okay, well, what the kids that have positive outcomes, what do they have, and try to emulate that?
Well, I want to ask either man, do you refer to your mom as mama or mom?
I actually call my mother. She's in my phone as mother.
Well, I'm just saying in conversation, like let's just say a harmless, like somebody like who you talking to? Do you say my mama? Do you say my mother? You say my mom?
Well,
do you notice
so if I'm talking directly to my mother, I call her mom, M-A, just mom, right? And that's my mom, right? But when I'm talking to like Aaron, say if I was introducing you to my mother, I say, hey, this is my mother, Georgia Williams. That's literally how I talk. Hey, this is my mother. I don't go mom. I usually don't say mom. I use the whole word.
Oh, okay, I got you. Now, Cheeky, do you notice a huge distinguish when someone goes, "This is my mama," and "This is my mom" or mother?
Yeah. So most of the time when I hear this, my mama is either from like really, really country people or really hood ass niggas. So like, that's about the only time I hear mama. And then when I hear moms or ma dukes, it's typically people from like up north, or people that's real cool with their moms. Like it's different. So like for example, like I say my moms, But me and my mom's is cool. Like we don't. It's not like yes, mommy. It's none of that. It's just like yeah, mom. Okay, I got you. I'll do what you need to do. But it's not like the. It's not the way that like for example, Mama D and Scrappy. I know Scrappy probably say mama.
So are we arguing at this point that it's more of a education thing? That people who are higher educated
it's in relation.
Like the hood people use.
No. I said hood and country because it's two different things, but they're very endearing to their mother. Like that's two things you're gonna get from most hood people and most country people, right? Is they really that's the matriarchy is hard. It's hard. Like it goes strong. So when you say mama, like that, the first thing I'm thinking about is don't you talk about my mom. Like whenever like Jay Prince probably say mama. Or probably not. I don't know because his relationship. But anyway, I can see somebody like Jay Prince saying mama because in most situations that's all they have to kind of refer to.
Yeah, and I think it's all dependent on the type of meeting I'm having. If I'm introducing my mother to a business partner, I'm not gonna speak in slang. Versus I'm introducing somebody at the restaurant. Like I think that we use different languages depending on the environments that we in. I disagree with that.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with that. I'm saying when I hear somebody say, "Oh yeah, that's my mama," I definitely think they have a closer bond with their mother than someone that speaks with a different phrase.
That makes it like I really understand what you're saying, but I know people who use the word mama and they ain't got no relationship with their mama at all. That's just how they talk. Like it's part of their language, you know. They think that just using those phrases are okay. So, but I agree. I can see how you do it. I kind of like to see. I think body language mean more to me. Like, how are you interacting with your mother when you're introducing her? Like the person who's like holding his mother while he's introducing her, you see that there's a relationship there versus someone who is standoffish. I think I read more of their body language than the actual words that's coming out of their mouth, in my opinion.
I think you put it all together.
Yeah,
more likely way.
I agree, but the first one's the alert. You know how you hear that alert sound go, okay, and then you start to because I think some of us we inquire more, we read more, we're more analytical in that sense where we take a lot of information silently and then put things together. A lot of other people don't really do that much. You know what I'm saying? So that's probably why we're breaking it down this way. But when I hear certain things, I just be like, I don't say nothing, but I be like,
yeah, I can get how it can like do certain flags, red flags in the person brain, but I just think some people are just being lazy with their words. That's what I really think it is. Like,
no. We know you Mr. Lazy with the words, so you trying to cover it up right now to be like, don't judge us with these words.
No, that's true. Like it's certain words that I don't use correctly, and certain words that I use slang words of it, and it's just slang. Like when I used the word y'all, like I had to really focus on getting that out of my vocabulary because that was part of how we talked in Georgia, you know.
So you said this one word last stream. I was like, Fatty should clip that one. I was like, what?
What did I say?
Oh man. Oh, I was dying laughing in my head. I was like, oh man. It the way your mind works, it's like I ain't getting caught up on these words. I know what I'm talking about. You be having to roll it.
I'm cool with. I understand who I am. I think a lot of people they like get caught up and people say they say the wrong words. I do. I'm human. I don't take it as a bad thing, you know.
Oh no, it's not a diss. You know, if it come from me, it's not a diss.
No, I'm not taking it as a diss, but if a person chop up what I'm saying and the bad words I'm saying, it'd be different if it happened every now and then. I do it all the time. So they just come to the next. They just come to the next stream and they'll catch it again. Usually, what I see about Fatty, one thing I love about how Fatty does his show is that he usually catch people outside of their normal. You know, like you don't see like you see clips of people like, dang, I never saw this guy do this. Like he's outside of his normal thing, and I think that's what makes it more enticing and better, in my opinion.
No, that's a fair point. Now, my brother O is in the building. He got a tough question. He said, Y'all don't love your mama or your mommy more than your daddy? Ooh,
that's a good question. I've been actually trying to understand who do I love more, because I believe that you can't love two people the same. But it's just so different. Like the relationship with my father and the relationship with my mother, it's just so different. I talk to them so much that it's just different. I do consider both of my parents as friends today, and I think most people haven't developed in that way where they can look at their parents as friends.
Well, that's because most parents don't know how to let that happen.
yes.
And so that it kind of goes back to the whole mama's boy situation. Like there is supposed to be some level of matriculation with your relationship with your parents. That if it isn't there, that in and of itself is a red flag too. Because it's like, Brody, like we too old for you to be. You can hold your parents in high regard and be like, I ain't doing it. Like that exists. But in regards to Omar's question, go ahead.
Go ahead. I want you to answer the question.
All right. In regard to Omar's question, I love them both the same, but we don't have the same type of relationship. So, like for example, if it came down to that, those philosophical, who you going to save from a pit of lava? I'm picking my mom's because I know my dad understands there's a duty. We both agree on that duty, and so he's got to go. And it's not because I love him less. It's just there's an understanding.
Well, that's interesting. That's based upon understanding, and I can agree to that. What if there was no understanding? What if he was like, "Nah, pick me or your mom's, and I want you to pick me"?
He wouldn't do that. So you're asking something that I can't even answer.
You can answer. You can't answer.
No, I can't.
Well,
I can't fathom. I can't fathom my father telling me.
Anybody's brain can fathom anything. Is yours. You can fathom it.
Nah, I'm me and you on the same level, bro. We both dummies that don't make a lot of money. You gotta ask Anton or Ida, man.
That's a fact. We definitely broke. But this is actually a really tough question for me to answer because I kind of align with Cheeky in the sense of how my brain works. Is I don't even think it's about more love, more it's about, hey, you a man, so you gotta go. Like that's the rules of the game. Like so it's more about that. It's not about who you would love more in that type of scenario. So
let me ask both of y'all guys this question real quick. If you had $500, your mother and your father needed, who would get the $500?
Damn.
You only have
Jesus Christ, really?
If somebody needed it, probably my mom's, because I think my dad is just physically more capable.
No. It depends on what it's for. Like either
if you need. Okay, so when we say need,
think about what he's saying though. Because okay, you're right. What he's saying is, I only got $500, and I got to give it to one of them.
Right, and they both need it for whatever the need. So if you're saying need, if you want to expound on it,
yeah. No,
what's the
okay.
circumstance?
Go ahead. Well, we don't need the circumstance because I don't think he want to give us one. I think he just.
He's right. I don't want to give you one. But it shows you if you gave it to your mama before you gave it to your daddy.
Hold on, let me answer before you speak.
First.
Okay, so you think it's about love? Actually, I would think this is my personal opinion in general, right? Because this is not to be mean, but I think women are more comfortable with begging and more comfortable with receiving things from people than men are.
Yes.
So
that's not the scenario.
Come on, I let you get your thoughts out. I can't never get my thoughts out. No matter whose show I'm on, don't never matter, right? So,
go crazy, man. Go crazy.
So I'm just saying, in my mind, right? I look at it like this: if I ask somebody for some money, I need that money more than anybody else, based upon who you know me to be. So if I look at it like that for men and women, mom and dad, I'm like, dang, Pop's really asking for this money? I kind of expect mom to ask. I kind of expect women to be like, I'm in the tough times. But a man that you know almost never, right? I could almost I don't think I can find anybody on this planet to be like, man, Aaron's ever really asked me for money. Like seriously. So if I did, I think people are like, you know what? Go ahead. You need this one, right? And I take that same thought process. Like, I'm giving my money to my dad. I'm giving the money to my dad. I don't, moms, this dad right now, because in my mind, I think he needed way more because it got to that point that he had to do that. Like that's just how my mind works. I could be wrong.
So if that, yeah, I think I can agree to that too. The reason why I said my mom is because that I was thinking that way, but opposite. If my dad need 500 and he need it, I know my dad, he gonna get it. I don't care. I look, bro, like, and I'm not saying my mom can't and will not do it too, because they're both like resilient people. But again, it's one of those things where me and you on the same page. Like, I know my dad, he not gonna be, if he asks me for 100, I know he say he need it. But if I can't get it, he gonna get it somehow, some way. And with my mom's is like, okay, mom, I know you. And plus, I'm thinking about my mother and my father's circumstance. They're not the same. My dad remarried. My mom didn't. There's a different dynamic. There's things that are different that'll make me go, okay, if one person need the help, probably gonna be mom. Right now, she didn't remarry. She didn't do none of that. My dad, however, did. So if he got to get the money, I'm sorry, I ain't never seen this man never get done whatever he wanted to get done. And if anything, I'll give my mom the 500, but go help him go get the 500 too, though. Like, ain't nothing but a phone call.
It's a tough battle right here.
Ain't nothing to call me and be like, hey, son, I need you to, hey, pops, I'm there. It literally happened this week. I'm about to go house sit because he needed.
I get it, but so since I love my parents the same, right? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna give my daddy $250. I'm gonna give my mama $250, and I'm telling them to call my other siblings and figure out how to get that.
Oh, you weak for that. You weak. I should boot you off the panel. You
Look
weak
at him.
for that. Oh, you weak. Omar says, listen to Dick Gregory explain how everyone loved their mom more. I ain't never heard that before. I've listened to some of Dick Gregory's thoughts, but I've never heard the expression of why they love their mother more. So somebody got the clip, send it to me, because
I think we will agree that most people have more grace for their mother than their father.
Yes. Yes, I would say in a general sense. Well, maybe we should discuss even the women. See, I don't have a woman up here to really balance how they view moms and dads, because
I think it's
go ahead.
I think it's I think men have more grace for their dad the older they get, and daughters have more grace for their moms the older they get. But me personally, I got more grace for my pops. I seen what this man be trying to. Nope. I seen it.
I think the grace comes with a high level thinking, though, right? Because I think as I got older and I understand the enormity of the world and the impact on men, I like when you're younger and they say you understand when you get older, son, and you in the dynamics thinking like, why is it like this, or why this, why that, and they say that, and you like, huh? And when you get older, it's the dynamics of relations with women. You understand when you get older, and you go, dang, I really get it now. So as you get older, you can kind of shift the mindset to go, yo, the stuff that men experience on this planet, it's crazy when you really break it down.
I think it also a factor. Do you feel like you've been lied to? Like if a man or woman feel like their mother misled them on who their father was, he have more grace for that person later, especially when they find out the truth, right?
See, I give grace to the fact that sometimes women don't see the world that way. Like women don't have to see the world the way that men do. So
at all,
could you hold her to a standard because your brain operates a certain way and you can see the world in a way that you need to do, and they don't need to do it this way? Can you really blame her, or do you have a high level of grace to go, I understand why you think like that?
No, I could blame her.
A perfect example. Go ahead, Edie, man. My bad.
No, I'm just saying I definitely can blame her, because if the truth didn't come out your mouth, I can hold you accountable for those words. Now, I can't say that you thought this way. I can't really dive into the thinking, but if you told me XYZ about my father and we came to the reality that XYZ is a false statement, I don't care how you think, you still lied.
And Omar, I don't think if I have kids, they're gonna love their mom more than me. But I'm willing to see the battle. I'm willing to watch the battle play out.
So I think it's hard to say because the person that they spend the less time with, I feel like they like the most. I know that sounds crazy, but familiar when a person's familiar with a person, I think that they don't miss that person. For example, one thing that I noticed is that with my girls, they spend all day with their mama, right? And then it's almost like a celebration. It's a happiness when dad comes around because it's almost like they had a chance to miss me because of my absence. And I think that a lot of people don't miss their mother because they really don't have that absence. I get people say school and all that stuff, but their mama's always there. For healthy. Healthy. Let's go healthy.
I kinda agree with that, but I still think the importance is it matters in which time we're examining this. As 30-year-old man, 25-year-old man, 20-year-old man, 0 years old to 16 years old, I think the dynamics change because our perspective, our enlightenment is higher now. So I think it evolves. So I think it just depends on that. Because I would say most fathers push their sons into loving their mom more than them. Whether indirectly or directly, they navigate the family dynamic that way, unintentionally or intentionally.
But I think that comes back down to the point of not being like you don't want. For example, if you're not there, you want your son to have a strong enough relationship that he still took care of his mother. I think that was kind of, especially when you look at back when we went to war. Hey man, I need to build this relationship between you and your mother because if I don't come back, I need to make sure that she's still taken care of. So I think that's an aspect that we, of course, everybody's not fighting now, but I do think that that's an aspect of why that is taught that way.
I'm good with that. I agree too. I think that's why when it come down to it, a lot of the things that, like for example, the reason why me and my dad even have an understanding, like if somebody got to go, it's gonna be me, is because like you're saying, he may have pushed that.
Yep.
So he pushed a dutiful or a principled attitude toward a mother or toward the role as a man within a family that, you know, I've accepted, because you don't have to accept it. I don't care what nobody say. Your parents can teach you whatever they want to. You don't got to listen to them. So I accept it. We both agree to it. So I know what I have to do. And then in the way you saying there, and yeah, I don't say love more, but be more dutiful toward. All right, because I don't really believe in love. I don't even know how to measure that jump.
Yeah, but we understand. Well, the in love things is a more complex conversation. I'm saying that I believe fathers navigate their children to loving their mother more, whether it's indirectly or directly. I don't believe the opposite.
No, I don't believe. I don't think
believe mothers do that.
Not at all. No, they don't even want to share a man with a daughter when they kids.
So Aaron, can I share a video?
You know you can share a video.
All right, so I want to understand from a daddy's girl point of view. Do we feel like this is an absence of the father being present, or do we think that
how you gonna be a daddy's girl if your daddy ain't around?
No, yes, you can. Listen.
Go ahead. Listen.
I'm not
in
saying
a small sense. I get what you're trying to say, but go ahead. All right,
so I'm not talking about a person that father is never around. I'm talking about a father that is limited. Like his time there is limited. Like you might get him on the weekend. Yeah, you might get him on the fun times.
I get it, but before you play the video, when you said that, right, the way you made it seem like he wasn't present. But the distinguishing thing is the level of influence. This is more important to understand, the level of influence. Like you may never, ever meet Michael Jackson. But when Michael Jackson died, people, Michael, go. I love, you know what I'm saying? The level of influence is what's been broken down. Go ahead and proceed.
All right, so let's play the video. When we play the video, this is what I want you to kind of process in your head. if she had the ability to be with her father full time, would she still value these things? All right. So if she had the chance to be with her father for full time, would she still value these type things? Let me pull it up real quick.
Kay opened up to her sister Courtney about Northwest preferring to be at her dad's house. This is the audio we have.
North, she'll go to her dad. She'll be like, Dad is the best. He has it all figured out. He doesn't have a nanny. He doesn't have a chef. He doesn't have security. He lives in an apartment. And she'll start crying. Why don't you have an apartment? I can't believe we don't have an apartment. Your house sucks. We make our own food. That's amazing that you make ramen.
So my question I asked is she
Whoa.
Hold on.
See, eat a man. I'm gonna let you get it off, dog, but that's wild, dog. That's crazy what she just did. Go ahead, my bad, dog. I'm gonna go mute.
I get what you said. I just want to know. I'm here for the conversation. If North spent majority of her time with her father, she was majority of time in this apartment, and she only was able to go to her mother mansion every now and then. If she was only able to see those benefits on a rarity, do you believe that she will appreciate the things that her mother brings to the relationship more?
No, because there's an aspect of connectivity that kids understand and value more than resources. Because the man, I don't care what she's saying, she tried to downplay it by going, it's good you're making noodles, but it's not about making noodles. It's about the entire process. The fact that I'm doing this with a parent that is showing love and affection. She just named a whole bunch of outsourcing with her mother. You don't think kids can pay attention and realize, hey, the time or attention or the things that I need is being outsourced, and I see it. She said he don't got security, he don't got this, he don't got that. He's in an apartment, which I'm sure is a lot more smaller. So it means it's a little bit more intimate. He cooks, he does the cooking, he's the one doing all of that. Matters when you're a child. She don't quite understand that now. When she hit 18, maybe when she started hitting to the teens, maybe. But how old is North? She's like 8, 7, something like that. She's not old. She's a kid.
Aaron, what you think about that before I comment on what Cheeky said?
I think there's some truth to what you're trying to say as far as the absence can make the heart grow fonder, right? I think the treatment matters, and I think the father-son, the daddy-daughter dynamic still matters, because I think the way women treat their daughters is different than how women treat their sons, and the vice versa, because women understand girls, they used to be one. They have an intimate, true understanding of the nature and how they operate in general, just like men do of the sons and stuff like that. So because there's a level of ignorance that we don't understand, we treat each other differently. We think that they're more innocent in some things. We don't know is truly deceitful and things like that. But in this particular situation, I think that her father's a celebrity. She sees him on TV. She is still influenced by things that are on TV. So when she can see the popularity of her father on TV while always being under the microscope of her mother, I think there's a lot of dynamics. I don't want to particularly use this one because this can make your point, but I just think there's so many elements here that I know how overbearing that family is to her and how restrictive they can be and how free her dad typically would be in this scenario. And so I can see why she's expressive that way. But I think typically it's based upon a lot of things, like like for instance, and I'm actually going to be very long in this response because I think it's important. Sons that see their mother struggling, daughters that see their mother struggling but still feeding them, and why the dad's not doing certain things, even if the dad comes by every once in a while, it don't move that dynamic. See, you're speaking about a child that has everything afforded to them. They're not struggling. They're not hurting in any possible way. Then I believe that it will allow them to not build that stronger bond, that thing that depriving someone of something creates. And so this is a harder dynamic. But in this scenario, I would agree with your point. But in the general sense, I don't know.
So I think this right here, and I could be wrong. Did you want to? I can be wrong. If North was spending all of this time, let's say he had majority of custody, making noodles would get old, right? It gets so familiar. Making peanut butter jelly sandwiches, cooking, and if she only had a chance to go to her mother's house every other weekend to have the chance to have the butler to be able to do these exotic same things, she would be having this exact same conversation about, hey, Dad, why don't you have a butler? Why don't you have a golf cart? Why are you not living the lifestyle that my mother is living? Because it is now unfamiliar. What people do is I always say they like the thing more that is unfamiliar. And it's proven that she would get tired of it. She would get tired of all these little things. The only reason she values those things now is because those things with her father is unfamiliar and they don't do it on a regular basis. But that's just my opinion.
Like I said, I don't like this example because her dad's a superstar. And so women are highly influenced, especially on Instagram and social media. It's a good point in general because I understand what you're saying, but this dynamic is very, very different. It's very, very different. So I
listen. Anytime.
Hold on. Shout out to O. He said you won't hear me. He says, Aaron, O, please trust me on this one. I don't know. I'm gonna fight you either way. I raised two of my daughters on a different level. First words with me was, first step with me constantly for 6 years. They always on a mama's side, laughing out loud joke. I did everything but breastfeed you. See, the problem is, you're a very strict man. You're very, very much emphatic, man. And what you say is what you mean. So unless you like the big soft teddy bear, which I don't know.
Ain't the vibes.
I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
But I would definitely say it comes down to, it's almost like, how people say that dad's the fun dad. The weekend dad is the fun dad. When I get with my dad, I get a chance to go to places like Six Flags. I get a chance, I don't have to worry about my dad talking about go to school, do my homework. My mother do that because I spend the majority of the time with my mother. I believe that the fun parent is always typically the person who spend the less amount of time with them. That's why we call it the fun parent. Because you can't be fun all the time. But if I only got you 4 days out of a month, I can make those 4 days fun.
Yeah, but
the thing again,
you fun though. But go ahead.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you hear what she just said, it's if you're outsourcing every aspect of being a parent, and you have a parent that's not outsourcing at all or very minimally, you're going to feel it. Especially with if she run that back again, let's listen to what she's outsourcing. Please run the video back.
MK opened up to her sister Courtney about Northwest preferring to be at her dad's house. This is the audio we have.
North, she'll go to her dad. She'll be like, Dad is the best. He has it all figured out. He doesn't have a nanny. He doesn't have a chef. He doesn't have security. He lives in an apartment. And she'll start crying. Why don't you have an apartment? I can't believe we don't have an apartment. Your house sucks. We make our own food. That's amazing that you make ramen. Great.
Go ahead, cut it right there.
So she basically just said, my mother outsources all the major things it takes to be a mother, and my dad doesn't. I don't care what nobody say. I can feel that.
I didn't hear that. I heard, why do you have a house versus you have an apartment? That's not outsourcing.
Wait, stop. Whoa. Either man, there's no way you didn't listen to that clearly, right?
No, I'm about to go through each point.
Okay, go ahead. I shouldn't have cut you off. Go ahead.
All right, so you got a house, daddy got an apartment, right? Why don't you have an apartment? That's not outsourcing. That's just that she like being in smaller spaces. I don't know. Like, that's crazy. All right. The second point she said is you have a nanny. Daddy do not have a nanny, right? I can guarantee you, Cheeky, if he had her full time, he would have a nanny. It's because he have her limited amount of times that he can give her undivided attention in those times.
You're making assumptions.
So you think that Kanye would not have a nanny?
I don't care about no. It's not about what I think. It's about what I heard. That's the difference between what I'm about to do and what you're about to do. You're making an assumption.
Let's go to the last one. We cook together and you have a chef, right? So we cook together, we have a chef. I don't look at just because she have a chef, she's outsourcing parenthood. She have a cook.
Okay.
She's outsourcing the groundwork of having memories with her children. What that baby was saying was she enjoys cooking noodles with her dad more than any 5-course meal a chef that cooks for them will ever do.
It's just because the chef cook all the time. If the chef cooked every other weekend, she would enjoy the chef. That's the point that I'm telling y'all.
Chef's not her
You're making an assumption while I'm not. I'm only going based off of what she said that she's complained about. This is the little girl's complaint. This is not me reading into it. My dad doesn't have a nanny. What is the nanny? What is the role of a nanny?
A nanny is to take care of a baby while the parent is not there.
Okay, so it lets us know what about Kim Kardashian?
That she have a busy life as a billionaire and she might need some help.
Okay, sure. And I'm sure Kanye West, as a billionaire, has also a lot of things on his plate. He does not have a nanny.
Correct, but he only has the child every other weekend.
Whether or not he has the child every other weekend doesn't matter to the child. That's my point.
But
that's my wait. But that's my point. Children don't know how to measure resources. And this kind of go back to the time money conversation. You know what I'm saying? Children aren't aware of the resources. They're not aware of the resources required to maintain them. They're just aware of the experience and the things that they know. You have to understand the child is not as aware. Most children are not as aware as an adult human being, being able to process, hey, my mother is working a lot, and because she's working a lot, we need a nanny. No, her experience, because let's look at what it's North, right?
Yes, North.
Northwest age.
I think she's 9.
So Northwest age, she was born. Let's see, how old is she? How old age? What's age? Just give me a birthday. I don't care about her birthday.
So take your time on that because we got a super chat. Omar Smith says that's different, E-man. Hold on.
Go ahead.
I'm the favorite when it's time to go to the mall, or if they need car keys. But if it's tension, they ride in with their mom. So what he's saying is children are opportunists. Whatever is the so that's what Owen said. It's like, okay, whatever opportunity best suits what their desires are at that moment, that's what it is. And so like I can kind of understand where he's going with that. And that's why I'm saying with you in this breakdown, it's like if a kid spend all the time with their mom and they go on the weekend with their dad and they dad don't have a nice environment to live at and things like that, they're not going to like him the most. That's why I'm saying it truly does matter on a lot of other impacts. So that's why I said the Kanye thing is like, I get it. I mean, like she go on the Instagram, she see, I don't see my dad as much. That plays a point. But when she do see him, million followers, I'm already stuck with mom all day. And so that's part where you're seeing it's also her mom is overbearing, right? She's not a free. I think you could spend all day with your mom, depending on how free spirited she is in comparison. So I think it's the opportunity.
Well, I don't know about that part because it sounded like Kanye wanted her to have more restrictions than she actually did. But Northwest is 10, right? So Northwest is not old. She's a little girl. She is not thinking about, oh man, the nanny in the 5-star meal. She just wants attention from her parents, right? And if one is giving more than the other, and one is spending time with her, and she's able to build relationships in that way and able to familiarize herself with the parent, I'm sure she's going to enjoy that more. Let's not act like Kim Kardashian not a star herself. Like wherever she go, she don't got lights, cameras, and action. She does. The difference is the amount of time they spend together, apparently.
I get what you're saying, and
Kim Kardashian is not a star like Kanye. She is famous, but she's not a star like Kanye.
And I get what y'all guys are saying, but I'm just telling you guys, if you look at it the opposite way, is it a possibility? And I know Cheeky said that, I'm assuming if she spent just the weekends with her mother, is it a possibility that she would see her mother lifestyle and the things that her mother do as different than her spending it full time?
I think you're making a structured conversation. So you're using a situation in which the man is not in the home, right? In a relationship that's not together. Let's use Beyonce and Jay-Z. You think Blue loved Jay more even than B? Because I wouldn't assume that.
I think that's hard. The reason I say it's so hard is because of the simple fact that
we definitely
we don't know.
But let's see once again, we don't know, and that's why Cheeky said let's not assume, only go by what we know. So let's be fair. Within reason, most of us would say that child spends the majority of her time with Beyonce as opposed to Jay-Z. We're not saying that's correct, but we're not saying it's factual. But
what we're saying is we only see her when she's on stage. We don't see them off stage. Like we see her performing with her mother. We see that. We don't know how much time that she actually spent. I can't say we, because I get a guy, y'all might say y'all see it, but I never see their lifestyle outside of what they want us to see. Like we don't see that, so it's hard for me to say. Versus when we looked at Kim and Kanye had a whole reality show. They gave us inside this lifestyle, whether it was real or fake, but it did give us a level of insight. Can you agree with that?
Yeah, I think they do give us a level of insight, but I'm saying, to me, ostensibly, it looks like that child spends more time with Beyonce than they spend with Jay.
I got it, and I can't argue that or not because I don't know. I can't tell. But what I see is that when Kim and Kanye was in the house, it looked like they spent the same amount of time together with that child. Once the child father was taken away and it was limited, then I think that's when it painted a different view of how the child looked at things.
Well, O says another aspect is the mom will shame them kids that they don't favor her. Them kids become conditioned to choose the mom. I think there's a combination of fathers typically push their children towards the loving of their mom. Historically, I've always seen it that way. But yeah, mom's definitely gonna be jealous. I think moms are so jealous if they child like they dad more than them. I think they are. I could be wrong. It's some moms in the chat that would be upset about it. They acknowledge it.
Oh yeah, I agree. Listen. I think that a lot of moms want to be the center and attention. You know what I'm saying? Like they want that attention, and being able to get that attention, especially girls, when girls react to the father differently. The reaction is like when a daughter when she really like respects her father, the dad can walk into the room and be like, stop, and keep walking, and she won't do it again. Versus when a mama have to say it 6-7 times, you know. So I think it's certain things that a lot of women wish they had the power of their father,
I think, there's truth to that, but I think women want the power without the action to get it, though. You see what I'm saying? Like, they don't want to have to do what the man has to do in order to get the power. They just want the power, right? Because women can be. There are a lot of women, I'm terrified of my dad. I'm terrified of my mom. If mom want to be the terror, they can get that response. But typically, mom want to be the lovable one and still have the power of that. You see what I'm saying? It's hard to juggle that. It's like, nah, you might have to. Dads take on the bad guy role gracefully. Go ahead.
it's just a thing. So like, look at the Kim Kardashian situation. Like, if we look at it in reality, right? If she was to neglect the child and not get the nanny, we would have talked about it. We say, oh, she's neglectful to her child. If she gets someone who could be able to fill in the points that she cannot fill in, and then we say, oh, now she like it's almost like it doesn't matter what she do. We can't look at her having a nanny, filling in the roles that she cannot fill in is a bad thing, because I feel like it's the most responsible thing to do.
You got an obsession with the Kardashians. It's proven. And we've had many conversations.
Every time I argue, I had an obsession with Oprah last night. Somebody
you got to know. I pay attention.
Obsession with Kim Kardashian. So
I pay attention. You got an obsession with these Kardashians, bro. I don't know what it is, what you like about these Kardashians, but you got an obsession with them. The other ones, the Oprah, you just want Oprah to be everybody's dream girl, but that ain't gonna happen. You finally highlighted Stedman, who was just a man because they live in California, so that like they just playing house, as you would say. So it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
I think Stedman is that guy. Man, he's the exception to the rule, man. He conquered the uncomfortable.
Well, now that we've broken down some of the dynamics, father daughter, mother son, children, parenting, let's go in to the dynamics of the statement in which this lovely lady says here. You tell me what you think about her thoughts.
She should not be working as hard as your mother. She should not be feeling the brunt of everything. So we can't look at our wives and say, what's wrong with you? My mother was able to do it all. Your mother was barely doing it all. And now she's tired. Now she's having health problems. Now, you see it in her body. You see it in her strength. All those years of carrying it all. Why would you want to break down your wife if you love her? Yeah. Why would you want her to carry all that? Because she's not going to be healthy later on. She's going to be bitter. She's going to be resentful. It's going to break down her body. And she's not going to be the best when it's time for y'all to be, when the kids are grown and it's time to be alone. She's not going to want to be with you because she's going to remember you left me out there. You left me out there to work by myself. You left me out there to be tired. You left me out there to be broken down and you didn't care. So husband is thinking, kids out of the house, hey, it's time for us to be friends. She's like, you are not my friend.
I think she's crazy.
She should not be working as hard as your mother. She should not be feeling the brunt of it.
I wanted you to hear the first part, which you said she should not be working as hard as your mother. It's a comparison of that. That was the first part that was missed.
I think she's crazy. I think she's crazy, right? Well, it all depends on what she's talking about. If my mother was married to my father and she still worked hard to accomplish what the families need, this woman is 100% wrong, right? She's wrong.
One second, because I'm reading this super chat. I'm like, what is that? O said, I just bought my youngest daughter the Smart Doll by Danny Chu. I have no idea who that is. He's Jimmy's son. Jimmy Chu, the shoe guy? I don't know. $560? He said, wife cried about being outdone. I'm like, I thought we were on the same team. He's right. He's right about that. Hey, we on the same team. My money, your money, right? See, it's competition on the top of that parenting hierarchy, either, man. It's competition.
I think if that's his wife, that's crazy. That's crazy. Now, if they were separated, I could see the competition, but I don't know if Omar need to write her name and his name on the gifts together when they give them to him for Christmas or something.
No, it was his idea. No, he ain't got to write her name on that. That ain't his fault.
So, but yeah, that's crazy. But no, so it's like it's one of those things that I have to agree with her and I have to strongly disagree with her too. And people say, why can't you do both? Is because if my mother was a single mother, my wife should not work as hard as her. 100%. I agree with that. Like if she had to do everything by herself, that's not the
position. You want me to play it from the beginning to the end again? That's not the position.
Well, no, the position is that the wife should not work as hard as the mother. And I'm trying to process in my mind what the mother was. What's the mother?
Like, okay, I got you. Your mother. So like she's, from what I interpret there, she's speaking what your what your father and your mother did. Like what they went through. Like, let me play it again so we all get the context here because I don't want to miss nothing. But I interpret it as that. So let me play it one more time to make sure that we hear that. Here we go.
She should not be working as hard as your mother. She should not be feeling the brunt of everything. So we can't look at our wives and say, what's wrong with you? My mother was able to do it all. Your mother was barely doing it all. And now she's tired. Now she's having health problems. Now, you see it in her body. You see it in her strength. All those years of carrying it all. Why would you want to break down your wife if you love her? Yeah. Why would you want her to carry all that? Because she's not going to be healthy later on. She's going to be bitter. She's going to be resentful. It's going to break down her body. And she's not going to be the best when it's time for y'all to be, when the kids are grown and it's time to be alone. She's not going to want to be with you because she's going to remember you left me out there. You left me out there to work by myself. You left me out there to be tired. You left me out there to be broken down and you didn't care. So husband is thinking kids are out of the house. Hey, it's time for us to be friends. She's like, you are not my friend.
Well, the only reason that I went towards the single mother, she said that the mother did all. She said, I did all. That means that if I'm doing all, that means the man did nothing. So there's no man there, right?
Wait. Hold on.
That's not what
I'm missing the context. Is she saying men that are looking for their wives to be motherly? Oh, Aaron, can you explain it? Because just from the beginning, maybe I missed it.
No. It's a lot in this. It's a lot in this one. So I would agree. That's why I have not actually listened to it multiple times other than today. So we are all literally interpreting the same thing in the same moment. So I can understand how the way you guys hear it and the way I'm hearing it. So let's play it again.
She should not be working as hard as your mother. She should not be feeling the brunt of everything. So we can't look at our wives and say, what's wrong with you? My mother was able to do it all. Your mother was barely doing it all. And now she's tired. Now she's having health problems. Now, you see it in her body. You see it in her strength. All those years of carrying it all. Why would you want to break down your wife if you love her? Yeah. Why would you want her to carry all that? Because she's not going to be healthy later on. She's going to be bitter. She's going to be resentful. It's going to break down her body. And she's not going to be the best when it's time for y'all to be, when the kids are grown and it's time to be alone. She's not going to want to be with you because she's going to remember you left me out there. You left me out there to work by myself. You left me out there to be tired. You left me out there to be broken down and you didn't care. So husband is thinking kids are out of the house. Hey, it's time for us to be friends. She's like, you are not my friend.
Can you zoom in on the comment? Oh, wait. There's a lot of context missing. There's no way I'm hearing what I'm hearing correctly.
That's all you hearing, bro.
Let me please read or zoom into the comment if you can.
The comments don't say much, but I'm gonna send it to your IG right now. So
no, not the comments, but that's the creator.
Oh, okay, I got you. I'll read it. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, read that. Maybe
all it says is sharing household responsibilities in a marriage is not just about divvying up the chores. It's a cornerstone of building a strong, equitable partnership. When both spouses contribute to the upkeep of their home and family, it reduces stress and resentment while strengthening the bond and cultivates a harmonious, what's up with all these words, man? I didn't go to college. A harmonious and fulfilling marriage where both partners feel valued and supported.
Oh, she crazy. Okay. See, we didn't get that content. I didn't get that.
Again, that was written on the side. I want you to go by the context of what was said in the video because we can doctor up anything when we write on font. You understand what I'm saying?
But she's now talking about specifically the household chores. I thought when she said mama was doing
everything. She made it seem like the nigga wasn't doing nothing.
You were paying no bills.
Women always say I do everything. We know they don't do everything.
Aaron, I agree. Women do exaggerate the amount of work they do, which is why we're gonna keep telling them house husbands 2024. All that hard work y'all be doing, no more of that. No more. The hardest job ever in the world is the 28/7 or 28/8 household manager and home taker. So guess what? Men, we need to protest for women to have the more cushy job and work 40 hours a week plus more because that job is obviously not enough. That job is not as strenuous as we think it is. I think we need to switch roles.
No. I really want to break this down. This clip actually, there's a lot into it that I really want to unpack. A lot.
A bunch into it.
Like seriously, more than you.
Hold
More than just hold on. Let me read what B Rose said because she's trying to make fun of me. She says Aaron never got hooked on the phonics. Nah, I never got hooked on no phonics. I wasn't allowed to. Omar says, E-man, only separation from me is on the end of a stone. Allah Akbar. I still have all my wives.
Allah Akbar! Allah Akbar!
Got all his wives. So it was a lot there. E, go ahead and tell me your thoughts.
All right, so I think I was being too logical and literal when she said I do everything. So I thought she was paying all the bills. I thought she was doing all the housework. I thought like that was just my assumption. And I can say I assumed when she said it. But when I got the comment, she talked about we need to divvy up us mopping these floors and changing these baby diapers. That's crazy to me. Like if you resent me for doing household chores, that is crazy. Like that is absolutely crazy because it's a whole nother side of sustaining a family outside of those things. Like,
but see, we got to run back and forth into this super circular argument that women will say is, well, grandfather bought the house and he got the money and mom, and then she took care of the home. Now these men making us pay half. So let's be under the understanding that black women in particular always had to work. And the black men, they ain't never had no money, so they needed their money too. So let's keep that in context instead of just making it seem like this was just like the man work and the woman take care of the home type of context. That's never been a normal. Go ahead.
No, I agree. Listen, if a woman's paying 50% of the bill, you need to be doing somewhat close to 50% of the chores. There's no way that she should have to pay half of the bills and have to do all of the duties of what we call women duties, washing clothes, different things like that. You should be contributing if she's contributing financial. So I'm not disagreeing with that statement, but what I'm saying is how she's painting about grandma and them. Grandma, my grandparents, he paid all the bills. So it was expected for her to do all the things like wash the clothes, do these things. And he wrote unbelievable hours. I think he was working 12, 15-hour days. So it was not unrealistic for him to come home and wash dishes and shit.
The problem is I hate this argument, right? Because I can make the argument that your grandparents, even if they have 5 kids, they did not have 5 bedrooms. I know you agree with me on this. We've talked about this. Now, if they got 4, 5 bunk beds in that one room, this is not what is occurring, right? We understand things have shifted. So we're not allowed to operate in the same climate that exists. I believe as broke as so we're going to give it on the race thing for today, which I normally don't like to do, but I know where it's going to lead into. I believe a man's $45,000, $50,000 salary, he could put food in the children's mouth. I didn't have no lobster, no steak growing up. It took me a long time if I ever got a steak. Let's be honest. So that it can still be done. It's not desirable and it's not reasonable anymore. It's the dresses that they wear now is not what they was wearing back then. The amount that they got clothes for every day of the week, a lot has changed. So
but Aaron,
go ahead.
You're also forgetting the additional requirements, even though you do make all the money. Now the new requirement is, how pops, whenever dad used to get home, right? There was assuming that he got home late from work for paying all the bills and all that. He wasn't as actively involved in the kids' lives. And it was understood that he could not be. Now they're going to tell you should be there because you matter too. And you have to do this while doing that. And also, sometimes you get tired. That's what they say. Sometimes I'm tired. Sometimes I need somebody to give me a break, is what they say.
Yeah, I think what it looks like nowadays. What it looks like nowadays, a man is his goal is to go to work for, let's say, 8 hours a day. He got to come home. He got to spend. Now he got to give the wife a break. So he got to spend another 2 hours with the kids. And then after he spent those 2 hours with the kids, he need to go in there and wash those dishes, fold those clothes. Like at what point, like how much do we have to do to make you feel equal in this relationship? Because it sounds really lopsided to me.
Either man, being a mother is a non-stop job. It doesn't end. It doesn't stop. And what I keep saying, and I'm gonna keep pushing this, y'all was trying to make fun of me when I said I'm gonna be a stay-at-home father. Little did y'all know I'm signing up for the hardest job in the world. The job that never stops. And it sounds to me as if that's exactly what they require. It's exactly what they need. So when we start going, hey, since this job is so hard and it's so strenuous and on the mental, on the body and everything, you go to work. I will stay with the kid. I will clean the house. But women are not going to accept that.
Yeah, because what they're going to find out is that the men are going to do a better job. Let's just be honest, right? The men are going to do a better job, and it's going to burn their soul, right? Because we already see fathers are more present than they've ever been, right? Most of these stories are pulling from generations before. Most of these metrics and numbers, but back then, we know just by our own experience, friends that we have, people that we close with, more present than ever. I'm not saying they're the smartest people in the world, more present than ever, right? Children tend to listen to them. They're more disciplined. They're more structured when dealing with their. So imagine if a man don't have to worry about making any money. Since we wanted to really switch the roles, and his job was make sure the house is clean. It's not that hard. Because let's be honest, even if you pay all the bills, either man, if you just walk around and throw your pants on the floor anywhere you want, in general, not specifically you, but just she's not going to be happy with that. She's going to be like, I work really hard to keep this place clean. Please put it in the basket over here, right? Because she'll have a system in place, right? So the men will put a system in place, right? So that it's not that hard to put certain things in place for it to be done. I think ultimately women don't want to find out that if a man had to take on that role, they might not like the outcome of it, to be honest.
Well, it's funny you said this because I decided that I wanted to do all this one day. I was like, how hard is it really? Right. And I woke up like an hour before the kids got up, cleaned the house. I prepared breakfast. I did all this. About 11 o'clock, I was bored. 11 o'clock.
That's one day either, man. That's one day.
It was actually a week, but listen, I'm saying 11 o'clock. I was in my mind. I was like, what am I going to do for the rest of the day? So I took the kids in the car. I don't understand why people clean up and let the kids stay in the house and junkie the house. That don't make sense to me. But I took the kids out the house to the park, different things like that, and I was like, man, this would be a pretty cool life, man. I think most men will sign up for it if it was acceptable.
But that's part of the issue. One, is not socially acceptable, and women are not really sure if they really want to do that. I'm telling you, women are extremely jealous if the children have a better bond with their father than them. And I know y'all know what I'm talking about. So to know that the unappreciated job is going to get the money, paying all the bills, and when the kids come home, they want to spend all their time with daddy still. After all that money you went and brought in this house, they're like, daddy, I want to be with daddy. It'll crush them.
And then I think what you should, like, one thing that I believe that men should do, you should put all the bills on the paper, a piece of paper. And you should give it to your wife, and you should say, hey, next month, let's just try this for 1 month. I want you to figure out a system that you're going to pay all these bills, and I'm going to stay here with these kids. Like, most women cannot handle the pressure of sustaining the household.
No. See, either man, what you're doing is
solving
pulling the rug. One is solving the problem, and two, pulling the rug from underneath them. Men should make it a priority. If you're not making over $100,000 as a woman, we can't talk to you, can't even sleep with you. But unfortunately, I know that won't happen. But we've got to make a new standard for men. We have to flip the gender roles, the social, basically what the leftists want to do, right? All the left-leaning libertarian, liberals, we got to do it. We have to do it in order to see how this is going to play out. I'm going to be the first one to sign up for this change. I've already started it. I've already said, hey, we need to stop calling men that are messy, men that are full of drama, all of that. They're not feminine. They're just human beings because both men and male and females display that behavior. So we can't say it's masculine or feminine because both do it. Now we got to make a new stance. A home taker, a home care or caregiver, whatever the case may be, it's not masculine or feminine. It's a thing a human being can do, and we got to push this. We got to push that men are able to do this too, and women need to go out there and work. They want to work. That's been their whole thing.
But
that's their thing. They want to do it. Y'all want to beat that 70 cent on every dollar. Guess what? We're gonna take all the men out, put them in the house, and let y'all work.
But Cheeky, you know one thing I can guarantee: after you finish cleaning the house, you finish doing all this, you still be willing to have sex at the end of the night. You wouldn't be trying to after all those duties. And she like, hey, I'm trying to get some butt. You be like, yeah, I'm still down for that.
No, man, no. We gotta.
I want to break down this other dynamic, but let me read the super chats. AL says, so is she going to help clean the gutters now? Most men ain't cleaning gutters, bro. I'm not even going to fake an argument that is not real. Guys is not really doing this, cleaning the yard work like they used to. Most people live in cities now. And I don't want to fake argue that that's what men are doing, all right? Shout out to Day. Day says, here is my thing. You women cannot ask for equality when my life will always be on the line in the threat of danger, so it will never be 50-50. Now, I would agree with that. But because that element of your contribution, because you're still alive, you haven't actually done that part of the relationship. So like I've been saying before, you need to go out and no longer live. And then I'm like, you know what? He really gave it for us. The ultimate sign. Because a lot of the men's duties are not tedious and consistent. It's one-offs. You know what I'm saying? But they're important one-offs, but they're not done as frequently, so they're not revered the same. They're not valued the same. And that's the thing that we talk about. But I actually want to dial back from that for just a moment.
Hold on,
hey, shout out to Kay. Go ahead.
Before you dive in, I just want to say to all the people in the chat, happy Veterans Day. It's a lot of y'all veterans have went through some things that is unthinkable. And I want to tell y'all guys that we care about y'all guys and we appreciate all the things y'all have done for y'all country. And I got to go. So appreciate you, Aaron, for having me. This is definitely a good topic that we had.
I appreciate you, bro. Next time you send that in the super chat, you don't come on here and make no announcement like, no, I'm just kidding. But no,
so like I was saying, let me make another announcement for the people in the back of the
we're gonna have to fire him. But no, I really want to discuss this aspect, right? I heard what she said, breaking down of the body. And remember, the express point was she shouldn't have to do what your mother did. So this is a parallel to your grandparents and how the grandfather and grandma dynamic work. And the women now should not have to experience those things, right? Wouldn't you agree that that's where she was pulling from?
Yeah, she was saying
your
wife shouldn't do what your mother does because of the stress it put on the entire relationship.
And over 30 years, this is why they get divorced, because the vitriol and the resentment and all those things, right? Now, I have to say something that is not fair, right? Women don't like this, right? But men have an experience as well. I know it's not respected. I know that they're going to be shamed for it, but I am going to express it kind of as clear as I can be. We don't want to do the stuff our grandfathers did either. We don't want to work for a construction company, see our hands curl up, can't be straight no more, watch our bodies break down, die off early, young, because like you said, you be getting beaten down over the years and all the stuff that you do. We have seen our grandfather get beat down over the years. His body starts to decay aggressively, faster deterioration, and we don't want that. Y'all keep asking why y'all not in the constructions and this and that. Technology has allowed for us to work longer and less physical strenuous work. However, the breakdowns of what our grandparents' bodies went through and the physical things, we don't want that. We also don't want to not spend a lot of time with our children. We have evolved just like y'all have evolved. So we don't want to do that either. So you know what that means? We don't want to work 80, 90 hours anymore. We don't want to work 16-hour shifts like they used to do. I know that you're going to say, well, you're not a real man. I know that's coming with the statement. I know that's what comes when we want to change what we want to experience, as opposed to y'all real woman, because y'all don't want what y'all grandmother wanted, right? Because we can say your grandfather was a real man, but we can't say our grandmother was a real woman. Y'all need to do what she did. We have to accept that with new information, new data, that there's involvement. Well, there's involvement with us as well. We found out that our bodies are physically breaking down. Scientifically, this is proven. So we don't want that. We also are finding out that we spend a lot less time with our children, and that's hurt the experience. So we want to spend more time with our children. We want to work less. That means we're going to make less money. What do you think about that? Does that make us less of a man because we've adapted and evolved? Or do you think it's only fair that your desires and what you want, which has evolved, take precedence over what we want as well? I'm truly intrigued to understand why that's so hard for people to comprehend when there are guys like, look, I don't want to work more than 40. And I'm not saying what's right. Don't ever confuse that. I'm speaking about what is. Do you think it's fair to tell a man he need to work 80, 90 hours to provide for a family and to lose his pension after 20, 30 years because you decide to leave because you do have pent up resentment? Why only one side of the story? Why only one side get vocal expression? Now that you know men may care and feel that way, what's your response? Do you take that into understanding and go, you know what, I agree with that? Or do you say that they're not a man? I'm truly intrigued.
You know which way that goes. People be giving me hell for making my takes, but I keep saying, hey, look, this is what we're going for. At least it's what I'm pushing. I got a whole new agenda. Traditionalism, I'm no longer pushing it. I don't care for it. I don't think it works. I don't think that's what women want because they've expressed they don't want it. I don't think that's what men want because we've shown we don't want it. So what we're gonna start doing is switching it up. And the only people that, of course, combat it are like, for example, Day came on the show and was saying what I was saying is dangerous. It's a slippery slope. This whole thing is a slope, downhill. Might as well enjoy the ride going down. Somehow, some way we have to climb back up. But no, why not? Why not switch it up? It's not like women are having children like that anyway, though. So
you know the funny part is, right? It's a one-sided experience. I listen to people. Grandma and grandma had 6, 7 kids, 9 kids. I heard people say I got 11 brothers. I'm like, whoa, right? You're 11. Talking about women that are crying for 1 child, 2 children. I can't, the stress of I just can't do this. Y'all not real man. I need to be in my feminine energy. For
2 children and more money. More money.
Cell phone, car,
technology, 2 children and more money. And that's 2 children. Now, when you have 7 kids, right? Look, if what she's saying, if what that lady's saying, she want that to apply to women, and it's got to apply to men. It's got to apply to men. If you don't want to have children, just don't have kids. Y'all already have that option. See, so when we start really weighing things out, everything is a decision based on the woman anyway. Mm-hmm. That's why it's time to even it up. If you do not want to have a kid while you're married, guess who can make sure that kid is not here, even while you're married, even without the consent or the acknowledgement or even discussion with the father? You can do it. There's stories about it.
We got our resident Uber driver in the building.
Hey.
What up?
What up, bro?
Yo.
What's up, bro?
Yo. What's good? What's good? Yo, these shorties got to treat me like a baddie. I need to be flown out.
Okay.
Now, I support the advancement in the treatment of what the desires that men have, okay? But I think this one-sided story got to stop. Like Cheeky, do you want to do construction, work with be a cement mason, pouring con? Like, have you I've
done that.
No, but okay, I've been around these men. So in the Bay Area, there's this thing called the Golden Gate Bridge, right? I know people that actually were there to construct it, right? I've taken classes by all different type of stuff, right? Their hands are literally permanently curled. Like their
and
legs,
they knuckles, they look like they got gorilla hands because they look like this all the time. And then look, okay, cool. Y'all saying y'all, and mind you, these are men that have been doing this for 2 decades, easy, right? And then the first thing they do when they talk, my back, my knees, back of my knees. I can't do this. I can't do that. Oh, this hurt. That hurt. I was there for. Forget construction. Warehouse workers.
The repetitive of the joints and all that.
Man, come on. I was in a warehouse work. No, sirski. Nope. Now I'm a janitor. It's different, but it's still kind of in that realm. But
you know, it's a lot of repetitive pushing the mop and things like that. But you understand what I'm saying? We literally are tore down because we don't want to do that. Like seriously, like you're not a real man, and it's it's kind of hurtful when you really look at it, because I don't want men to start dying because they have to do this physical strenuous labor because they're men, when the data says physically their bodies cannot sustain it, and it actually shows that they die very young.
Yeah.
So no, yes, you're right. You get to change the treatment, and you don't want to get treated like our mothers got treated, our grandmothers. Fine. We're not going to either. Whenever you switch the contract, when you go into negotiations, it's not a one-way rule. It's not a one-way negotiation. Hey, we get all the advantages and changes, and you guys keep doing what y'all was doing. Just stop cheating. That's the argument. Just don't cheat on us either. Don't do that anymore either. Okay. But you see what I'm saying? Like they negotiate all the terms, they squeeze that in a fine blueprint at the bottom.
It'd be great if you could just be faithful. It'd be great if you could just get out the kitchen and vote. It'd be great if we could work. It'd be great if we get paid just as much as men. It'd be great if we could go back to the very beginning.
I'm trying to tell you.
It'd be great if we could just do this and that and this and that. Just for them to be like, well, soft life, Aaron. Aaron. It'd be great if we could just work and vote. Why do you think we just belong in the kitchen? Meanwhile, I really want to be in the kitchen. Like, come on, man. Come on. Yeah. Nah, y'all want to work?
But here's the crazy thing about it is they just don't want to do what you tell them to do. Like the lies. Oh, if my man made this, I do what he told me to do. There's a bunch of men like I pay all the bills and she didn't want to do what I told her to do. So they don't want to be controlled, right? But they'll take control in a certain environment. They'll stress themselves out at work for you don't be able to control them with money. Do you know your men are financially abusive? Do you know your boss is financially abusive? Like, let's be honest. Let's break down these dynamics, right? No. Let's be serious. How many times have we said, oh, you know what? I was going to do a whole show on this, so I'm going to hold that one off, but I got something in the tuck. You have to understand. Women are saying they're burning out. They need mental health days, and men need to take mental health serious, but they're saying they need mental health days, all these things. My job is too stressful. Do you know your boss not going to pay you unless you do all those things? You don't consider that financial abuse? Why don't he just give you the money for existing? Because there are things that you're required to do to get that money. So don't you think if your man say, I ain't giving you this money unless you do this, this, and that, is the same thing. No, that's too simple. No, it's not the same. That's financial abuse if he does it. But if your boss make you do something in order to get the paycheck, that's not financial abuse.
That's work.
Oh, that's different. Hold on, go ahead and say what women say. That's not the same.
It's not the same. Wait.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you have an authoritative figure telling you, hey, in order for this exchange to work, you're going to do these things and I'm going to compensate you. And when that compensation is over, you're going to do it again tomorrow. And the man goes, hey, we're in a relationship. In order for me to do these things, you're going to have to do these things. And for this relationship to work, you're going to do them and you're going to do it again tomorrow. That's different. He pays me. Granted,
makes no sense to me.
He pays you. And what do I do?
Is that the same thing? It's the same thing.
Aaron, the Lulu till it come true, Lulu. The Lulu till it come true, Lou. These.
I do my all I try to do is highlight the differences so people can understand. But it don't seem to work. Okay, AL says women are the most financially abusive. I don't know about what do you mean by that? You understand what he's saying? I'm not sure if I
absolutely. For example, if it's already guaranteed, right? Or at least statistically speaking, that women spend majority of household money is down the third, blah, say blah, blah, blah. That and it's still statistically true as of now that men are making more than women, especially in marriages. Most men are earning their spouse or their wife. Who do you think has the most financial request or for most things? Like, hey, I want this, hey, I want that, hey, this, hey, this, hey, that, hey, this, hey, that. And also, who do you think is going to be fronting most of that money? The man or the woman in most cases?
I'm gonna have to consult my lawyer before I answer that question.
All right, I'm thinking it's the man. I'm going for the man. The man for 200, please. But then imagine if the man go, we're not gonna go for that. In the moment he says we're not gonna go for that, the accusation can be he's being financially abusive. So either he goes for it without any crying or kicking or complaining or being demonized, or he doesn't go for it and then he gets psychologically manipulated to go for it because technically you're abusing her. Damn. That's abuse. That's emotional and financial abuse if I've ever heard it. Like, so you telling me I have to do this because if I don't, either way this goes, you're going to try to make me feel bad? And most men when they're in a relationship don't want to make their girl feel bad. They prioritize their woman's feelings over theirs to the point where if a man says, hey, I want to talk to you about something, and it's about something she did, and she started crying, guess who's now consoling her about something she did before he even got to the root of the problem? But yet they want to talk about abuse. Oh my God.
I'm hopeful somebody does a response to our conversation today about how important it is for men not to have their hands curled all up in the physical abuse that they go through, and that they want to see a change, and that they're going to make less money so they can spend time with their kids because they've been demonized for being absentee parents that only provide money.
Look, no one's going to have a really good rebuttal. It's just going to be these men today are weak. These men today these men today aren't real men. And the reason why this society is failing is because men aren't men anymore. But these are the same people saying they want rights.
Well, I'm just saying men have evolved. Men have evolved. We got new information, Cheeky. It turns out that all that stress y'all was doing when y'all was working in the construction industry, in particular, factories, whatever you want to call it, was a lot of work on your body. Like during the auto strikes and all that, they were talking about some of the strenuous work that they actually do and how they need rest days. And they like, and I was like, I didn't know it was that difficult. I ain't never worked there. But I'm like, it's still going on to this day where they're sacrificing their body. And how I just never understood how I have the understanding that if this affects this, this will affect this. That somehow women don't ever get the point that, dang, if I want to make a change to how the relationship exists, he's going to want to make a change. He's going to want to do an adjustment.
Because it's self-centered. It's not about thinking about the other party. It's about thinking about what they want. Because you do realize that last video you just put away, everything she said was about not doing something that your mother did. And it's like, okay, but what about there was no mentioning of any father, right? There was no mention of anything. And I guess that's normal, right? Maybe the conversation.
That's just how women talk.
Maybe that's just the conversation was just solely on the experiences of a woman and not necessarily both, right? Whereas where me and you, we tend to go, okay, well, both sides, right? This happens with men, this happens with women. We try to be somewhat fair until we're trolling. But I'm not trolling about pushing men being house husbands. That's happening. 2024 campaign. Donald Trump.
I think I would be one of the best.
I'm telling you, you know what, bro? I'm telling you, while having a job and a girl, hey, look, I know you got to go to school. So guess who was cooking too? I was cooking. And I'm a clean person. My bathroom wasn't dirty. Her bathroom was her bathroom.
Most men ain't requiring cooking. Like, I'm telling, do I need hold on, bro? Because you think I'm joking. Hold on, no. Hold on.
He said most men are not requiring cooking.
Look, listen. I'm just looking at Uber Eats, right? Uber Eats reached 11 billion in revenue in 2022. 11 billion. That's just the Uber Eats. I didn't even look up the DoorDash. Now, you could get delivered a vacuum cleaner, but most likely people are getting delivered food.
You could be getting delivered.
No, because you could. I don't want to.
You could possibly be getting cooking supplies. You could be groceries like Instacart. It could be that. Something tells me it's not though.
You know what? I'm gonna look that up too.
Pretty sure they can look it up.
Hold on. Instacart, I don't even think is a big enough market. Let's see here. Let's look at their revs, their most recent revenue. Now, this is going to be even more fun. Instacart is a major player, but they're not the top player. Most people don't even know who it is. But let's just go with Instacart because it's a recognized name, right? Okay. You know what their total revs was? 764 million. 764 million. That means typically those are groceries delivered, right? I understand you can order another, but I'm only pulling revs for that. I could pull it for other ones, right? 764 million. For Uber Eats, 11 billion. So cooking, order food. Like, it's simple math. And I ain't even go to college. It's simple math. Kobe Jordan, why are you running around? Can you sit stable somewhere? Okay, I made him smile. He smiled. That's all that matters. Now, this the thing. I'm sorry, Cheeky. They're not even requiring cooking. Like, Cheeky, let's be honest. Girl, like, I'm not really a good cook. I try every once in a while, but I found this company, and they'll deliver this such and such. I can either heat it up or put it on the stove real quick, and it's done. Would you be like, nah, we ain't gonna be together then? In a general sense. So there's solutions, there's plans to execute. Like, this stuff is, come on now. Trying to be nice.
Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to y'all. It is Men's Health Awareness Month. We need this good info
every day, man.
Shout out to y'all, man.
I'm definitely working on being a stay-at-home dad as best as I could.
Look, man,
I want to spend much time with my kids. I can.
We both looking for the older sugar mama. That's we're both looking for it. So if you get one,
if I find one in this chat, I swear to God, I'm
don't. If you get one, just send a recommendation my way.
Hey,
if I get one, if I get one, I'm gonna send one your way, and then we're gonna be good to go.
Friend,
hey, Aaron, I got two of them. So if you you know what I'm saying, if you need one, just let me know.
Paula Fessa is here to tell us how we not real men. Paula Fessa is gonna be like, no. He's a traditional.
Wait. Paula Fessa is here.
He's in the chat, so
Paula, look, man. Paula Fessa. Me and Paula Fessa have had our conversations. I think
I like Paula.
I think he's understand that the way of the house husband is the new way, and he's choosing himself not to do that, but he still respects the decision because he knows what's going on, and also he just wants to be. He's a what do you call those people? He's a hipster because he's all the way in Australia somewhere, knowing good and well raging feminists live there. And he talking about traditionalism. How dare he? You hipster. He want to act traditional, but he really a hipster. He only doing it because it's not as popular.
No, I actually understand him, and I'm in agreement with what a lot of the things he says. The thing is, I just don't like to be limited to how men have a. It's our world, supposedly, right or wrong, whether people agree. They say this is a man's world, right? But why are we limit? How you gonna limit a man's choice to be a stay-at-home dad or a worker? It's my world. I should have both at least.
I do what I want.
It's my world. I should be able to do both. This is a man's world, right? So I should be able. Why? Even if you saying like that's one of the worst options, it's still mine. It's my world. Men should have unlimited options in this world. Okay, it's a man's world. But we find out that they have the most critical positions in life and that you need to do this or you're not a man. So I don't know, man. I don't know. So I've been struggling with that. Prime, is that you? I can't tell if that's Prime. But I've been struggling with that. But I really wanted people to truly understand that when I heard that woman express how her body's breaking down and they go, and I'm like, what do you? Why? We know you don't want your body to break. Why do you think we want our body to break down? I got you, Prime. Why do you think we want our body to break down? I don't.
Because Aaron, we men and we can't cry. That's what they said. They said we can't cry. We can't be emotional.
They said actually to discuss more, so they switched it up.
So it changes like every 10 years. I don't get it. You know what I mean? The sentiment of it.
I support the whole house dad thing. That's what you want to do your thing. It used to be like my dream when I was pre-Navy, when I was a teenager, I guess. But I don't know. There's something about having a woman that cooks for you and all that, man. You just can't lose on that.
We asking for a lot. I learned myself, man. I had to learn myself. I'm asking too much.
Asking for a lot.
I'm asking for women to be virgins. That's hard enough. I'm asking women to cook now. That's way too much. I'm asking women for a lot of stuff, man. It's what you may think is basic.
Is it our fault? Did we let the bar just lower and lower and lower?
I don't know whose fault it is, and it really don't matter. But I got the perfect solution. We've got to start pushing for a lot less traditionally masculine things. That's the only way we can win, in the sense of like make it even, right? Because the goal is to even this thing up and make sure all of this works, not to win any other way besides that. So, yeah, man,
work.
So let me ask you this, Cheeky. What you just said, does that apply across the board for all races, or are you just specifically speaking of like black culture?
Yeah, I don't speak specifically on black women. Like in the majority of the cases, I don't, because I don't date black women as a whole, or I haven't. All right, so it's not like I'm against dating black women. It's just not been my experience. That's not been my case. They don't like me. I have no problem with them. But if they don't like you, if you can't join them, go somewhere else.
A lot of us say that, man. They need to stop like trying to throw that shit away, man. A lot of us do feel that. They just don't like us, and that's okay.
But Aaron, I got a question though, because I'm curious, right? So like when I hear black dudes say black women don't like them, right? Like I don't know how, because most black women are with black dudes or pursue black dudes. Like that's just facts. Like most black women want to be with black men. So like when I hear that, is he speaking more of like an attraction thing or like what?
No, it's not. It's not about attraction. All right, like it's not like because there's so many things that go into attraction, but it's more like for example, if we start talking about, I don't know, let's say politics. How many people really know politics?
Most people don't.
Yeah,
Right, but they know, but they do know that if you voted for Trump, you can't be black.
Yeah.
But see, that's just
what they do know is if you
that's
do
the
certain
ignorant-
things, you are
that's the
X'd
ignorant
out and
person.
you can't, and you're not. So, and I'm not saying I voted for Trump. I'm just saying that's what I mean by it doesn't take much to be disqualified in one area.
I
So you
get
got to
it.
go find other areas.
I
And it's
think
not nothing personal.
I think once you start to open up, because like if you don't say anything off bat, like she won't. I don't think majority of black women just won't like you. I think when you are a man who's very opinionated or have strong opinions about something that maybe doesn't favor them, or who's very logical, very intelligent. I feel like those are the type of guys who kind of like don't get the edge with black women initially. You know what I'm saying? Like
Well, they have
if
a
you
harder grading scale. Like
yeah,
they're
like
quick
because
to
like
write you
for
off.
me, I'm very opinionated. I'll speak my mind, and it's like it bothers people in general. But I notice with them, it's like they want me to be a certain way. Like they want me to act and talk a certain way, and when I'm not that to them, it bothers them. And so that's just been my experience with a lot of them. Like it's almost like they want me to like act dumb or to like please them. But like when I speak my mind or speak how I really feel about certain things, and I'm very opinionated, and it has logic base behind it, it's almost like they don't like that.
See that?
It depends, like you said, it just depends on if you agree with them. I think we've seen that plenty of times where if you say what they like, they all on they're in your corner. And I'm speaking generally. I'm not saying every black.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Generally speaking.
But generally speaking, if you say what they like, then you're good to go. For example, there was plenty of people that said things that just did not agree, and they got the most. Kevin Samuels is one, I think. I think Kevin Samuels is somebody who said things that they didn't like, and when he died, I mean, celebrations, like hour long stream
But
celebration.
see, that's weird because he also was with a lot of black women. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like he didn't date black women or he didn't have success with black women.
But apparently, he died with a Latina chick. So
the issue that typically comes up is this: women generally are very much trying to disqualify men as often as they can. So they have a much limited pool. Men like all different types of women. So if we're talking, I think somebody was talking about black women in particular, they don't want to date out. They don't actually like those men. They're unattracted to them. Men, don't matter what your race is. If you fine,
that's a
fact.
fact.
That's all. So you have to understand there's already limitations for women who don't find men outside their race overly attractive in the first place. So the men, we find regular women super attractive. Oh, she regular, but she look good. Like we get hyped. They don't. You have to be something for them to really get hyped about. They don't want regular deglers. They want to feel special. They can say they looks is average, but they don't want average experiences. They don't want average outcomes. That's just the truth. They'll lie and say they're willing to do it, but they're not. And I can prove it a million times over. See, we love women. I don't care if it's an Indian woman with long hair, whoo, we like them.
We like beauty. We love him.
They like really like Indian guys. Like he like a hype. He Indian guy. They're going to find ways to disqualify them. So the fact that they're already limiting their pool and you're willing to dabble with other women that you find attractive, they gonna be mad. Like you cheating. You expanding your pool, and I don't like these other people out there. It ain't fair.
So, Aaron, let me ask you this. So you were saying that they'll sit back and say all of these things about black men, how they hate black men, and give a list of all these things we got to do. but they don't want to go and pursue the guy that's interested in them, like a guy who's not a black
Well,
man who wants to be with them. You're saying they'll just ignore this guy and
that's
just
not true.
keep
So
complaining on us.
that's not necessarily true, but the way that it plays out is like the cheesecake guy who was Indian.
Oh yeah.
So
it'll play out like that. Because in the interview, the dude asks, "Is this somebody you would normally go for?" She sit there in that man's face and say, "No." I'm like,
But see, hold on. If that Indian dude was wealthy and he had a certain look, I think she would act different. That's what I'm saying.
But
Like,
you just changed the whole dynamics, though, bro.
no,
It's
I
like-
know. I'm just using an example. Like, I don't think like to me, I just find it hard to believe that black women just don't wouldn't pursue these other men if they had the quality, or, you know what I'm saying, if they had the characteristics that they're looking for.
they will do what they do, and then the man will just go, "What is this?" Just like that any man did.
They don't
He said,
have the physical characteristics, and they don't have the charisma and charm. I've spoken to countless women. The black male energy is different than any other group of men that they've experienced. It's always been expressed that way. I'm not tooting horns. I'm just saying it's different. And people will tell you, dating different women, they are different. I'm not saying that women don't have a large majority of similarities, because thinking all this stuff is very similar. There are small things that distinguish them. And I'm saying the things about black men that it's hard for them to get over if they can't have it in this next man. You'll see there are some women that they're willing to do it for some guy, but it's rare. So they have a much smaller pool, and they upset with you because you're willing to mess with an Indian girl, a Pakistani. If she look good, hair is good. Men are
what they call it now? Dirty feet. Like, I just now found that out.
Wait, what?
That's yeah, they call people that's from another country dirty feet. But at the end of the day, that don't change. Yep.
That's wild. I never
They
heard
don't
of
got
that.
no shoes. That's what they be calling the African women and the African people over there. But again, if there's an African person that looks good and is available and showing you and treating you correctly, I'm sure man is going to go, okay, that's fine. Yeah, so there's just I think the criteria for men is especially different, and for black men it's even higher. And if you don't meet up to it, then you kind of get rejected. So it is what it is. It's not even like a big deal. It's just It's
You're right. You kind of
not a big deal. It's like, look, like what you like. I ain't mad at it. Have your preference. If you don't like a certain type of black man, and I'm not mad at that. I support you dating out or go finding that. Just don't try to flip it on black men and say you never liked this. That's not true. I didn't say that. You said that. Either way it goes, it's just like this big game of who's gonna flip it on who. And at the end of the day, the criteria is just high. And if you don't meet the criteria in their eyes, then it don't matter. But it's not nearly they don't nearly ask you for as much, and they don't treat you the same way. I've also figured that out as well. So at one point in time, I thought being treated meanly by black women meant that they don't like you, but I've had to find out that's not the case. That could mean they like you, or it could mean that they really just don't like you.
But see,
You
that's
just
why
don't know.
I don't really pay too much attention to these criteria. Like when I hear Aaron with these lists, like that's just, to me, it's fugazi. Like in reality, that's just not how it works. I've seen the complete opposite. Like I've seen women say something and that's not how it went down. Like no, it wasn't like that. Like if she like you and she like, you know what I'm saying? If you got something going for yourself and you're a respectable dude, you know what I'm saying, you're attractive, a lot of that stuff get thrown out the window, bro. I'm gonna just be honest with you.
Yeah.
It depends on the type of guy. Like that's what it comes down to. That list is for a particular type of guy. It's not for all dudes.
True enough. It's not for everybody. Some people just not interested in dating out at all, and they're black men as well. So I feel like that's perfect.
But hasn't
be a
the
one-on-one.
argument always been women from other groups are curious about black men in particular. They're willing to study them. They're willing to learn more about them, as opposed to the opposite.
That shows us, man. They
I don't know how
fucked up.
true that is. That's what
Hold
what's his
on.
name
What's the
said.
question? I didn't hear what you said, Aaron. Go ahead.
He said, "Isn't it true that other races of women are willing to study and learn black men and try to figure them out and put effort towards them?"
Yeah, I mean, I thought. Correct me if I'm wrong. I thought black men were the most desired, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, across the board.
I think from a sexual aspect, yes,
White men
but
are the most desired. If you encompass the definition of it, right? I think Cheeky
Yeah.
is specifying a particular desired thing, but so I would say white men are still at the top of the desirability list. But if you start to pick specific things, black men can.
But I think, yeah, that's what I'm saying from a financial standpoint. But just like overall attraction, I thought it was black men still. But
That's a little.
Actually, it's still white men.
But you want to Cheeky, you want to see one of, like, you know how I follow a bunch of random stuff on Instagram and TikTok, right? This girl traveled around the world and found her an African man. She got like 3 or 4 million subs. 3 or 4 million on TikTok. So I'm just saying, she's very popular. She's very popular. Let's find another video. I like that video. See, let's find another one. Oh, here's one. Here's one with the flag. See, now this is her man. You know they got that song, my man. This one, you know that this.
not the dissections though. They got the dissections.
Like what? Look, she be getting busy too. She be having.
Look at her.
They be gigging. They be gigging. And listen, and look, somebody said, fair enough, she learned to dance. She's in a whole nother country, my friend. Whole nother country. Look
enjoying it.
Look, bro, getting busy.
Enjoying it. Adapting the culture. Look at that. Good for her. And look at him dancing right next to her.
Now, listen, I know women are going to be jealous. Oh, look at them praising the white mom. They just want to be so close to them. Listen, all I'm saying is show the opposites. Show the opposites.
Matter of fact, Aaron, I think I got a video. I don't know. I'm going to see if I'm going to find it real quick. But it's not what people think it is. She going crazy.
Oh, my bad. She love the kids too. She love the kids.
Oh no, not the kids too. Yes, sir.
Big love the kids.
Oh man, that one I always get canceled. Huh?
Hey man, you know what?
Wait. The artwork too, Cheeky. The artwork too.
Okay, she got the tribal painting.
Trying to tell
Look
you.
at that. Come on.
I tell you, all right, they said no more. They were gonna cancel me. They said no more. I'm gonna get canceled. I don't want no problems. I ain't trying to get canceled.
Why are they trying to cancel the African American
woman? Why they
woman?
gonna cancel me? You already
That
know
African
why.
woman. That's an African woman. She's African.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Let's see.
Yeah, that's where a lot of the contingent comes from.
Nah, I'm good though. Let me see if I can find it because it was talking about this girl is in Japan and she was saying how as a black person in Japan,
I might have seen that.
She has such a hard time dating.
Yeah,
Aren't the people interested in the black men that are there aren't interested in her? And to me, I'm like, okay, why is that?
I think I might have seen that one. I didn't save it though. I think I might have seen that one. I'm probably gonna do a whole show on Japan because Japan is kind of headed where the US is kind of headed where Japan is to a certain degree as far as the birth rates. As difference there is Japanese culture. There's a level of what we would call cheating here, different over in Japan. Paying for a prostitute is different over in Japan. It's viewed different.
Yeah, no, I covered that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They actually don't, like, a lot of the Japanese women said if you go to a prostitute, that's
It
not
don't
cheating.
count. Like, I've seen a lot of videos on the breakdowns of the different things about it more in depthly. But not only that, the loneliness culture out there that exists as well, right? I'm gonna cover that too. But you might have to buy you a family, rent a family for the day. So when me and Cheeky say, "Yo, y'all feeling a little lonely? Come on through. This the charges per hour. Y'all want to rent a family? Yeah, we pull up on you." So yeah, they gonna realize. Keep going at the rate that they going, and the loneliness that they think is just male loneliness because it's the way it's reported, because this is how they want to report it. They're gonna start to find out the loneliness bug is very strong all over.
Yeah, and we read about the issue that women in Asia, or not Asia, but China more specifically, rural areas, cannot find a husband because they got all this education.
I have
read
the
that?
video on that. So there's the marriage market, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? So this is a guy that does videos. There's an African guy, maybe a black guy, whatever he is.
Yeah, he's African. He speaks Sweden. He's got braids and he's tall and slender.
Well, this guy, he speaks Chinese, right? And he went to the Chinese marriage market to find.
Oh, wait. You talking about the one with the 360 cam? Because there's a couple of them. He's got he's a black dude who wear do-rag.
I don't.
Or it's an African dude.
Hold on. I got it somewhere. Hold on.
Right here. I'm looking at it. Pull it up. I'm gonna pull it up. That's what I'm saying. I have this one saved to react to because I thought it was funny. I was like, ain't no way.
That might be AOC for us. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Hey, let's do
Yep,
it. This is the dude I'm talking about.
Yep, I think that's the one.
Yeah, this is the dude I'm talking about.
Yep.
He been in China for a long time and he speaks Chinese. He was
hold on, let me pull it up on mine. Hold on, because I want to see. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up because I want you to be able to see. Because I think this guy looks a little different from the guy you shown, but I can't see it. Yep, that's the one. Yep.
I know it's Aaron. Aaron, I'm like, bro, we're talking about the same video because I have it saved.
Oh,
I have it saved. I was like, this is,
I have a different
this
video.
is interesting.
Oh yes. Oh yeah.
This is interesting to see. Is that an L? We try to do LC tomorrow. You want to do that tomorrow type deal?
Yep, I got time. Yep, I got lots of time to put that together because we gonna tie that other video I sent to you as well because we've been pushing that one too. So, oh yes.
He's looking for a wife. Is that what you're saying? I can.
He just went to the man really just travels around China with his 360 cam. Sometimes he'll have his do-rag and his his wife beater on or his tank top. And he's just vlogging. He's just like, hey, this is what's going on. This apartment I live in. I remember one time in one of the videos while he was leaving or going back to his apartment, he picked up a girl. He's just like, hey, what's your name? Blah, blah, blah. She was interested. He picked her up. It is just that simple.
Yo, I got the other video. We're gonna play that one in the other one too. Oh man, it is hot.
And the man African. I mean, the man straight up and down, just African. So you telling me a little, you know what I'm saying, milk chocolate man couldn't go over there and find him something? Man. Look. It goes a little different.
Passport bros, man. That's what the passport bros.
Yeah, listen. On that note, time to end the show. On that note, it's time to end the show. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Aaron O Show. We're gonna be going to the lab because we gotta put some things together. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you hit the like on the way out. And we're gonna see y'all on the next show. We